pure wealth creation, pure greed, is much of an advantage. Anyone who has a more intelligent system, the advantages commercially and political control is just
what I would like to see is
Alexa, set timer for 25 minutes.
And I think that should be extended out to every level. Complexity, so you should always hedge your bets. You should always try to keep around your ancestors kind of out of gratitude and nothing else, as long as you can. And the science fiction novels by Ian and Banks, to me, are very fulfilling examples of how to do that, where the civilization is run by hyper-intelligent AIs, but they still keep humans around for their own mysterious reasons.
And I think with the prospect of merging, tether this to our brains very early.
I think some of us should do that, but I hope we can also have a violence to people who stay insulated voluntarily, just as sort of insurance. I think that's where you get the defensive depth against existential risk, because you don't have everything wired into the same.
Thank you.
This question is for Sam. This is a very general question. However, in the long run, what do you think AI's impact on world politics will be? Can AI only lead to a universal basic income, or maybe another system?
I'm a kind of uninformed fan of the concept of UBI. I see, just again, it's not. I haven't spoken to any economists about it, and it's quite possible there's some downside to it that I've not seen, but it seems to be just, generally speaking, that AI works insofar as it works, and insofar as it doesn't become a safety concern. What you have is a just engine of wealth creation of a sort we've never seen before. And you have a technology that is canceling the need for human labor in a way that we've never seen before. So there are jobs that disappear that don't get replaced. And at a certain point, this ethic and this politics and this economics we have around everyone's need to work, everyone's need to find something that others will pay them to do, that has to break down. You have to change it. Your lease on your own existence can't be a matter of you doing profitable labor when there's no longer a need for profitable labor. And that,
what was all that about?
No idea.
Case, but absent getting those ethics and getting the ethics and politics right, it's a very dystopian case. Then you're talking about massive wealth inequality and an unwillingness to spread the wealth around as a kind of bottleneck on the way to whatever this weird future is. And so it seems to me that we're fully capable of getting this wrong. There are enough people in the world who don't want to provide universal health care, for instance, right? And so, and even if you could bring that cost down.
What?
When do you think you'll be willing to call me Nines?
9S works just fine.
Well, yeah, but...
And that people need to be forced to
Man,
get
this job can be pretty rough sometimes, huh?
We don't get to choose our assignments. And you should work on keeping your opinions in check. Yorha aren't allowed to be emotional, remember?
I think some of us are better at that than others.
Of people not finding meaningful ways to spend their time if this happens suddenly, certainly. But we need a culture that informs us about how to live really rich and beautiful lives that ultimately it's not tied to necessary work. Then it can be tied to all the creative stuff and the fun stuff.
This must be the commercial structure Pascal was talking about. The records say it was once a facility known as a shopping center.
Right, and some people are incredibly lucky. I mean, I'm doing something right now as a job
No getting through
that I would
here.
want to do anyway.
Maybe there's some kind of mechanism we could engage?
Fantastically privileged situation to be in. But
If we were
not everyone
human,
is in
we
that
probably would have gone shopping and such here, right?
More meaningless
More and more
conjecture.
the world will have the character of each
You're so
human
serious, 2B. You know that?
Alert. Multiple machine life forms detected above our position.
All hail the Forest King. All hail the Forest King.
Who the heck is the Forest King?
You're getting distracted.
Well, what do you expect? I'm a scanner. Combat was never meant to be my forte.
But I think that I'm a work in progress on this topic, and my goal is to get knocked around by different arguments. The first thing should be the fact that farming has historically practiced.
Check this guy. He's just running away.
It's going to explode!
But if you could make it ethical enough, and we were actually just talking about this before this event, if you could make it sufficiently ethical so that each one of these animals had a net positive life, it was better to exist than
Hey,
not.
where am I?
What's
Well,
that?
that does undercut
Hey
the
there,
argument
guys.
for
What's up?
vegetarianism or veganism.
This seems
Because
weird, 2B.
We're now
Let's
talking
kill
about
it.
billions
Wait,
of creatures
what?
that would never
No, good
exist but
idea.
for the fact that we
No!
So again, you have to stipulate that these
Okay,
are happy
what
cows,
was that?
reasonably happy cows, such that it is better to have been that cow than to have not existed at all. I think that's certainly conceivable, but absent that, I'm hopeful that things like clean meat will come.
Looks like the forest is just ahead.
I had Uma Coletti, the CEO of Memphis Meats, on the podcast a while back, and they're developing meat products that are real meat, but just there's no animal in the equation. They've taken a single cell from the best tasting cow ever, and you amplify that in a sterile environment, and you have none of the chaos of a slaughterhouse, and no xenoviruses, no bacteria, and you can grow. I mean, they now have a $18,000 meatball, which I think has recently become a $6,000 meatball, but eventually it will be a $6 meatball or a 60-cent meatball, and then we'll have real meat without any ethical implication, unless it's actually worse than having happy cows. That would be a good problem to have.
Here they come. Better keep your guard up.
I'm aware of how to fight. You just be careful.
I will, 2B.
Well, the consciousness as a matter of experience, with its consciousness, thought, state, right? Everything you can notice is experienced in consciousness. And that is consciousness. That is collaboration.
These machines.
And
They were
one
talking
thing
about
that
a king,
most
right?
people feel
I
is
saw what
there
looked to be a
is
castle further in.
feeling of
Maybe
being
we should take a look.
being a changeless agent, an author of thoughts and intentions. And that's the illusion that can be penetrated. Look for that thing, fail to find it in a way that's practice of meditation, that first-person experiment that one learns on himself again and again and so on. One can actually notice that about consciousness. That consciousness feels a certain way prior to each thought arising. I mean, the sense of self, from my point of view, the sense of I, the sense that there's a thinker of thoughts in addition to the thoughts, or an experiencer of experience in addition to just experience. That's what it's like to be thinking without knowing that you're thinking. It's like captured by it. And I think there's most people, I think everyone is continually losing their sense of self. It's not noticed. You're continually losing your sense of self. And we have this phrase, we have this concept of like being lost in your work, or lost in your movie. like each moment when you really want to move it, and you're so absorbed in it that it's really working, the illusion is happening. You're not aware for that moment that you're sitting there looking at the people, not aware that you're just looking at the light on the wall, or you're just fully captured by the fiction. That's the moment where you lost yourself. Yeah, but it's not vivid the way that it can be. It is actually just what kind of light.
So my first question is
Sorry, I didn't get that.
what was the best LSD experience you've had?
Okay. So the first question is about relationship anarchy and yeah. I think, yeah, so basically I practice hierarchical poly, which means I'm in a long-term, long-distance pair bonded relationship with a primary partner who is most important to me, and then we each have secondary partners who we spend less time with, and each of those relationships may last weeks, months, years, but they don't tend to last as long as maybe they will someday. Relationship anarchy is sort of a view that you kind of create the relationship that each person deserves on the fly, kind of negotiated ad lib, and there's kind of a minimization of expectations and commitment. In terms of the people who do that, I don't think that is going to be a very viable option for most people most of the time. Relationship anarchy probably works well like in college or if you're a single adult. But I think if you're sharing a house, a mortgage, kids with somebody, I think you've got to have hierarchical poly and they got to be your primary. Nothing else really makes sense. So there's all these varieties of consensual monogamy that I've heard about, which are very fascinating. And again, watch this space. These are rapidly developing subcultures that are kind of systematically exploring the space of possibly even relationship patterns. And most of them won't end up working very well. But it's really valuable to the rest of us for them to report back. What worked, what didn't,
How are we supposed to reach that castle?
Go out on the limb and say that relationship anarchy is not the final solution to our problem. Maybe it just needs to be rebranded. Well, I had many good acid trips until I started having bad ones, and then I stopped taking acid. But I don't know how common this is or not. I had maybe first 10 times I took acid, there was just no intimation at all that it was possible to have a bad trip. I've heard this concept of a bad trip, but I couldn't imagine what that entailed. No record. And then I had my first bad trip, and then thereafter I knew exactly what the red wheel I was spinning. And I think the possible downside is something one should have no respect for. I think drugs are different. And some drugs I think are probably neurotoxic. I don't think LSD is. I think physically it's not a matter of LSD being bad for you, but I think bad trips are bad for you. And you can damage yourself just on the basis of having a terrible experience. So it's worth being cautious, but I've had many amazing trips. This suggests to you just how acid is sort of arbitrary where you are. So we camped out above Muir Woods in Marin. Muir Woods
What is with these guys?
the tallest
Don't listen to what they're
redwoods
saying
in the
too
world, or the tallest redwoods in the world. And so we camped out, and our plan was at dawn we were going to drop acid and hike down into the towering forest of trees. So the first part of the plan went well. We woke up at dawn and we dropped acid. And we got, but we came on, I mean, it was maybe like a mile down to the big trees, but we came on so fast that we just got caught with more or less the first tree we met. And it was just, we discovered maybe 10 hours later that it was a perfectly ordinary tree. I mean, it was like a 20-foot tall oak tree that just contained the secrets of the universe. So I don't know what the lesson is in that, but it's camp closer to your favorite tree. If you're
First off, thank you both so much for your time. Dr. Miller, broadly speaking, how would you advise an individual to be more honest with themselves, to challenge themselves, to search for that objectivity? And Sam, do you find that more difficult now than, say, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when maybe you're a bit more anonymous?
So I did this book of dating advice for young single guys called Mate a couple years ago. And honesty with oneself in that context, I think had a lot to do with trying to help young men figure out what do I really have to offer if I'm straight and I'm looking for a girlfriend? What do I really seriously have to offer a woman that she might want? And a lot of people are extremely self-deceived about that, and they don't have a well-calibrated mate value, and they don't have a good sense of what am I kind of stuck with that I can't change, and what could I actually level up if I put a little bit of work into it. And also, what do I take pride in that nobody else actually cares about, versus what could I change about myself that would add value in a relationship. And I think you can generalize that, not just in seeking romantic partners, but asking yourself, what do I really give to my friends? Maybe the things they value about me aren't the things I think they value about me, or the things I value about myself. What do I really give to my family? So I think honesty is not just a matter of sitting down and navel-gazing, but I think it's about interrogating what value do you bring to your actual and potential relationships. And I think that's a really useful mirror for kind of getting a better sense of who you are and who you can be.
Place in my life has been so different, and like now I have children, and they're just joys and growth as a parent that totally didn't like whatever was going on 15 or 20 years ago. Being able to be in contacts like this and have conversations like this, and that it's all really good and all very different, but there are other doors that close, as you get older and have kids, and being able to decide to do a 3-month silent retreat. That's not something that I feel free to do now, because I just couldn't go offline for that long and not touch with my daughter. So at some point in my life, I will expect to be able to do that again. But this is something that I don't think we tell people enough, that there are periods in life that are kind of discrete and that do, for most of us, come to an end, and you want to make use of those periods wisely. It's like no one tells you that you make most of your friends very early in life and you tend to keep them, right? Like, I don't know what teenagers and college students would do differently with that knowledge, but people tend to make a lot of friends or some core friends early, and then they, in many cases, go the rest of their lives without forming deep friendships, apart from finding a spouse. And there are many other things, like just sitting retreat, as I said, and that's the kind of thing that if you don't foresee how your life is going to change when you suddenly decide to have kids, you won't be aware that the door to that opportunity is closing. But yeah, I'm in a very nice place in my life now. I've got no complaints. When you see my website go down, you'll know that I'm shrieking in anguish in my office.
My question is for Sam. At this point in time, are there any specific or just general thoughts that you have that you'd like to see changes from the federal government in terms of domestic and foreign policy, in terms of preventing and dealing with terrorism?
I don't know what's going on that's not being advertised, but I have I'm not on the inside of any of these conversations. So maybe they're doing much that I would want them to do, and they're just not really talking about it. But I think people like Majid Nawaz and Ayaan Hirsi Ali really have this right. I mean, we have an ideology, and to speak specifically of jihadism, we have an ideology that we have to counter, and it has to be a war more than it's a war, and we have to take that problem seriously. We have to win a war of ideas with the Muslim world, and we have to get the Muslim world to win a war of ideas with itself, recognizing that we're having the message come from outside of non-Muslims who are just worried about radicalization is not going to be effective.
So
we
those
have
machines
to figure out how to support
how can a concept like
reformers and
loyalty be
apostate
understood by a machine?
freethinkers in the Muslim world, and that has to be a real priority. And it's taboo to even acknowledge that that's a problem. That we have more of a problem with Islam than with Mormonism or Scientology or Anglicanism or any other religious cult. And we have to acknowledge that, and we have to have people who are pouring massive resources intelligently into solving that problem.
Thank you.
Sam. So, having grown up in a religious cult and shaking the shackles of those beliefs and indoctrinations,
You get a little closer to the mic.
I want to personally thank you for having been a part of me, my re-education and growing up mentally. So, thank you. In light of that, what do you feel is a bigger threat to our future? The ideologies and dogmas of our history and religion and culture, or robots taking our jobs. Where do you value spending our time and energy? Do we worry more about the things of the past, or do we worry about the new threats in the future?
I mean, really, for me, it does come down to the primacy of conversation. I view what we're doing here successfully, millions of us strangers figuring out how to collaborate peacefully, creatively, and safely together. That is a matter of successful conversation, one after another. We have to, we're learning to converge on the same values or similar enough values. We're learning to form institutions that bring these values to scale, whether it's laws or politics, and we do this better locally, and we don't do it very well globally yet. But clearly, we have to do it globally, and it is a matter of having words suffice, right? Because otherwise, it's just a real force. We have to get out of the force business. I don't know that we're going to get out of this anytime soon, but at a certain point, war has to become unthinkable, right? What's the alternative? We have to get to a place globally where a war between the U.S. and China, say, seems just as preposterous as a war between Texas and California. We have to get there somehow. That's clearly the end game for a viable global civilization that is pressed out towards other planets and so on. So every problem we can solve together will be soluble because we are collaborating peacefully and creatively to solve that problem, whether it's AI or anything else. If we were suddenly attacked by Martians or we were facing some global pandemic, right? Are we going to solve that problem? Well, we will solve it insofar as we figure out how to cooperate intelligently, if we're smart enough to solve it. But solving these failures, these needless failures of cooperation is a huge task. And things like religious dogmatism and sectarianism, or racism, or nationalism, or other forms of tribalism, those are clearly bugs in the system when you're talking about large-scale cooperation.
So it's just kind of evolution running its course?
Well, no, it's not evolution. It's the evolution of ideas. Yeah, it's not a matter of I mean, we are, by virtue of evolution, we are not
This looks like a king's castle.
well poised to build a global civilization that works. I mean, evolution can't see the things we need, the tools we need to develop to do this well. You know, evolution doesn't know anything about democracy or capitalism or AI. So we've got the tools we have, but we're developing new tools, and that's culture.
Thank you. I would love to hear thoughts from both of you on how you think our K-12 education system needs to change and what it needs to look like given a future of artificial intelligence and trucks that drive themselves so we don't need truck drivers anymore.
What you think that? I think you also have some thoughts on the future of universities.
Well, one little thing, in every class I teach now at university, I ask my students, what do you guys know about free speech? What do you know about the First Amendment? What do you know about your rights as students in terms of expressing first viewpoints? They know nothing. American K-12 is absolutely failing on in terms of teaching the most fundamental parts of civics, their rights, understanding of government, and they're absolutely handicapped as citizens as a result. If they don't know, rights, then they can't really engage with society with any confidence. So that's one little thing. I think one thing I've pushed for a very long time is to try to get schools to rethink what are we really trying to produce. Are we trying to produce citizens or workers or just well-rounded people or folks who make good friends, lovers, parents, etc.? I think actually it's very, very difficult for K-12 schooling to predict what knowledge and skills will be useful in 20 or 30 years. It's a lot less difficult to predict what kinds of social skills, communication abilities, empathy, mindfulness will be useful in social and sexual relationships. Now, it's very hard to get government schools to go, okay, we're going to teach kids how to be just awesome polyamorous profile lovers. Because those skills won't last. But if I had a voucher system, I had my team franchise, that's what I would teach. Or at least basic marital conflict resolution. Like you can level people up in about an hour, reduce the bitterness of marital conflict by about 50%. We don't do it, and that's easy. So I would focus on those sort of general life skills. People should know how to meditate. People should know how to manage their emotions. People should know how to actively listen to others who politically disagree with them, take them on board, steel-man their arguments. Look it up, steel-manning an argument. They should know how to do that kind of thing. But I think teaching them any specific kind of job.
Alexa, cancel timer.
Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes.
And thanks for your podcast. My question's 5 minutes. So I think we're actually witnessing a gender phenomenon here where I'm the first female to ask this question, and the number of females is maybe not representative of the number of females actually in the audience. So we say it's safe to assume that this isn't a coincidence. What gender differences do you think cause this, and are we stuck with these?
There is a general pattern in many species that males are louder, right? Sexual selection tends to favor males who do more public broadcasting of their signals, their virtues, their intelligence, whatever. And this tends to be the case kind of throughout history across cultures. The public display tends to be dominated by males, mostly because males are out there trying to lead. But as you point out, that's bad. This means at least in public discourse. So how do you overcome that? I think this is where I'm not going to say it's inevitable. We can't do anything. We just have to live with social norms that actually encourage women to stand up and encourage men to shut up or speak to say things. I was really struck a few years ago. I gave a few talks in India. And in India, the female grad students were much more assertive about asking questions and engaging in conversation after talks than the male grad students. And the sex ratio there was actually worse. It was like 70% questions. I have no idea how Indian culture produced that result, but we should figure it out and like replicate it in American universities. I think this is a solvable cultural problem, and I think it's one that, I mean, it handicaps science. If you go to science conference, 80% of the questions are from guys. Most of them are more long-winded than necessary. And
also depends on the field. There are areas in science that are overrepresented by women now.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, this is a very common experience to wait this long to get the first woman at the mic. Thanks very much.
Good evening. I think it's really interesting how the conversation kind of shifted from discussing basic instinct and mating, jealousy, talking
what did you
about
just say?
artificial
Roger that,
intelligence
my
and
guys.
how
Wait,
society
no, that's
is
not what you
talking
said.
about that.
You said
And
nines, or at least something close to.
problems that are
Cut the
going
chatter and
to
engage
face
the
our
enemy.
society. Our society. And I think that it amazes me how, as a species, we're still trying to figure out something so basic and ancient, such as our instincts and how to live with them and all the other problems that are coming from them. And yet we are also trying to figure out how to deal with what the human brain have produced to the current societies and the civilization. And this just led me to what keeps me up at night, which is thinking about the possibility of just kind of, is it possible that our emotions are stunted? They did not evolve as much as our brains did. And just thinking about the epidemic of mental illness and how we're dealing with things in our society currently. So I think my question is, do you, as Dr. Miller, do you think that our brains have developed faster than our emotions?
Yeah, so I teach a regular course called Human Emotions at my university, where we go through all the emotions and we take them all very seriously as complex adaptive systems to solve particular problems in their own way. Fear, anger, love, lust, jealousy, shame, guilt. These are not simple things. They're very finely tuned mechanisms that have a lot of anatomy, a lot of psychology within them. So it's wrong to think of the emotions as somehow simple or basic. There's a lot of them, and they do a lot of work for us. And they can be deployed in quite flexible ways in society, right? So you can have anger that goes all the way to just getting into fight, into sort of moralistic aggression that's outraged, that, you know, that mathematician is true for that particular concept as this logical error. So I agree about that. And that's really cool that we can repurpose emotions and connect them up to cognition in so many different ways. So I actually feel lucky that we have as hard toolbox of emotions as we do, because they're each so intricate and complicated, and that we can kind of connect them up to different contemporary issues in such flexible ways. of human emotions in a scientific way is only 150 years old, so it's not that surprising that we don't have those kind of rational models of emotions. And we only had evolutionary psychology, which is kind of the key that unlocks all of this theoretically. Certainly, emotions don't evolve biologically very quickly, so our emotional repertoire is not going to be up to date with regards to most of the things we face. And I think the mental illness issues, widespread depression and anxiety among the young, is kind of what you would expect from this mismatch between our basic emotional repertoires and a lot of weird aspects of modern life.
Yeah, I think the spirit of your question is a very good and startling one. I mean, when you just picture where this is all headed, I think we will one day colonize Mars, and there will be almost certainly a first fist fight on Mars. And just picture that. And the two polyamorous dudes deciding they have to bash each other in the face on Mars. So we have a lot of work to get our house in order, and I think the products of our raw intelligence are outstripping our apish urges, and at some point we need a better handle on our raw emotional life.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
I also want to say thank you for helping me feel less alienated and insecure about my critical views on religion, especially considering I grew up in a very red county in Texas.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you for that.
Sure.
My question was actually more or less the same exact question that she just asked, so I'm going to completely change it. In my Plato philosophy course, we've been talking a lot about death and Nietzsche's idea of the eternal return and the importance of contemplating things like death, and how it may help us prepare, well, how life should maybe be about preparing for death and how we should contemplate it. So what do you think about death? And yeah, I guess just generally, what do you think about death, and what do you think happens in that moment?
Well, I don't know what happens, but I think thinking about death is very useful. I think, it's not, it could be morbid, you could be just afraid of dying, and that could be limiting. I mean, I think there's a way to think about death that's not healthy, but I think there can be a very constructive and very useful way to keep death in mind without pretending you know anything about what happens after death. And there's certainly no good reason to think that you get everything you want after you die. So the only chance to do something beautiful and meaningful that you can be sure of is here. And reflecting on death gives you a reason to make the most of this opportunity. And it gets your priorities straight in a way that few other things can. And you can be blindsided by it. You can suddenly lose someone close to you and realize whatever opportunities you had to tell them you love them are now gone. So you just look back on whether or not you made the most of those occasions or not. But you don't have to wait for that to happen to you. You can realize that's going to happen. If you just live long enough, everyone you care about is going to die. Either the phone is going to start ringing with bad news, or someone else's phone is going to be ringing about you in the end. And so it's, rather than wait to be blindsided by all of this, you can know that that's coming and use that to frame even ordinary interactions with people with this profound sense of the preciousness of all of this. This is an intuition that religious people seem to have that I've never understood. I can't tell you how many times this has come at me. I worry that if there's no life after death, if heaven doesn't await us after death, none of this means anything. There's no point to anything, right? This becomes somehow diminished by a lack of eternity. But in the absence of eternity, this is it, right? This is not a rehearsal for anything. This is the show. And I think the best way to internalize that is to remember that you don't know how long you have, and you don't know how long anyone close to you has, and that need not be depressing. That can actually make you able to cut
Alexa, cancel timer.
reality and pointless pettiness.
Alexa, cancel
it can
timer.
make you a better person very, very quickly, to remember that. There are types of anger and interpersonal glitchiness that just become impossible.
Alexa, stop.
When you think about death. And so reflecting on it is very useful.
Thank you.
Now that I've just talked about the preciousness of life, apologies for those of you in line, but I think we're down to the last 4 questions. So two aside. Yeah. Actually, no. Now I'm seeing that we'll try to be not long-winded. Just nobody else get in line. We'll get through both of these lines.
Hi, Sam. I'm a programmer, so I got another AI question for
Yep.
you. Given that evolution happens to populations and not individuals, and intelligence arose from a population evolving, do you think that maybe we will find AI by having a society of virtual minds interacting? And if that's the case, when they do become conscious, then we don't really have as much of a problem because they'd all have to decide to kill us and not just the paperclip maximizer, like deciding to go rogue. There'd be a group of AI that all kind of woke up at the same time.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I don't really see. I mean, I think it's quite plausible that if this doesn't happen incredibly quickly with a true winner-take-all scenario, there will be multiple AIs. It'll be better aligned AIs that we'll be using to safeguard us against badly aligned AIs.
Yes. Do you think that if we do come up with it, that we'll just have a single mind in a box that just kind of wakes up, or it's not going to be like something that happens that kind of...
Well, I think it's scarier to think of it being out in the wild, so to speak. I mean, it being already on the internet or already out of a discernible box. I think that's more worrisome because then it's in contact with everything we care about, or potentially in contact with everything we care about. So I think the only responsible way to make the final step towards something that is truly super intelligent and, in the extreme case, recursively self-improving, something that can actually initiate something like an intelligence explosion. The only responsible way to do that is in isolation. You're just air-gapped from the internet. We just can't have that touching anything else we care about.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
So how would you advise one to be effective in their communication with an audience whose views are completely opposite of your own?
Well, I can't say I'm especially good at this, or at least I don't have a lot of evidence that I am. I'm not often, I haven't been invited to go speak at CPAC but there are obviously points of contact that you can make with any group. I mean, we're not radically divergent in what we care about. I mean, there are a few people who want the world to end or want to see disease spread or don't care about the future that their children will inherit. Or you can creep up on shared values even if you're with people who have radically divergent beliefs from your own. But it just depends on what the purpose is. If I'm in front of a religious congregation and I'm broadcasting my blasphemy, the only way I have found to sort of frame that so as to be unobjectionable is to talk about what my real motive is. I mean, my motive is not to just shock people or offend people. My motive is I'm worried about the status quo. I'm worried about the untenability of having a world that is shattered into separate and competing religious camps, say, for that conversation. And that worry can be understood by people, even the people who are quite sure they have the right religion. They can see the untenability of having a zero-sum contest with the rest of humanity, or at least potentially. And so I just think it's, being honest about your motives can go a long way if your motives are admirable.
I think there's two other things you can do. One of which is you can kind of cultivate a complex patchwork ideology where instead of being locked into one particular identity, like I am a Democrat liberal, you can cultivate, this is what I think about this issue, and this other thing about that issue, and then you can do this little Uber exercise, which I do every time I'm in an Uber. I talk to the driver, and I say things only that I genuinely believe are true, but I make him or her think I'm absolutely on the same page ideologically about everything. Because there are parts where I can agree with them, always, and if you just kind of go with those, then you'll find an amazing amount of common ground.
I'd like to see your Uber rating.
It's like, it's so high.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So my first question is, what's the extent or like how much a person can change, especially given that we said that many personality traits are inherited, but also we know that there is neuroplasticity, and specifically also about the consciousness, which is something that I kind of share with you, that something that feels and something that watch or like feels the feeling and thinks the thought. Do you believe that something has a say, or it's just watching? Like, can it change? And the second question is about marijuana legalization. I see that it's encouraged a lot by liberals and leftists who are actually like scientists, usually like they are pro-science, but also at the same time there are some clinical data that correlates weed and marijuana usage with psychosis, especially in teenagers.
Right. Well, to take the second question first, I think criminalization of drugs is just a bad idea, regardless of how harmful certain drugs are. You don't. The worst effects of drugs are the effects of their criminalization, organized crime and violence, and the profit motive of a black market, and the fact that there's not safe dosing of these drugs. So the problem of drug dependency and people taking bad drugs versus more benign drugs, that's all a matter of education and social support that people need, and people finding meaningful lives. But we have abundant problems with alcohol, and alcohol is legal, and we didn't need the prohibition to give us organized crime and all the other problems we had by virtue of making alcohol illegal. So to your first question, insofar as I've heard every word of it, I think people tend not to change very quickly and radically, but people can. I mean, it's like, yes, we have this tendency to be who we were yesterday, but the power of new ideas and new relationships and new disciplines is enormous. You see people occasionally who have changed their lives and changed almost everything about their lives. I mean, they're just unrecognizable to their old friends. There's no recipe necessarily for doing that, I mean, depending on what the change is, but you become, on some level, what you pay attention to in a sustained way. And deciding what change you want in your life is probably the first step for most of these changes. And then you look around you and you see the people who are successfully doing this thing that you wish you could do, or have become this way that you wish you could more closely emulate. And there's a way to do that. Everyone's advertising their method for being who they are. If you want to know how to get in shape like a certain person, that person will.
But someone already in shape, right?
So you know how you got that way. So there's no shortage of information about how to do any of these things that people care about. And just as Jeffrey said, married couples can close the door to fully half of the horrors of a bad marriage in like a single hour if you actually have an intelligent conversation with someone who can facilitate better communication between spouses. You can get much better at communicating with your spouse, and that can happen very, very quickly, and people neglect to do it, and the results are everywhere to be seen. So I think you shouldn't underestimate the possibility of changing quite markedly and decisively and more or less permanently. And that is on the menu in many respects.
Thank you.
Firstly, I just wanted to add another name to the list of, I guess, ex-Muslims. There's a gentleman that's from here, Faisal, Sayyid Al-Attar. Friends with him on Facebook. He's got plenty of Facebook profile pictures with you in there, so just wanted to shout out him. And my main question was just going to be, do you see overlap between groups like, Regressive Left and sort of the mob mentality, online mentality, and also maybe overlaps between you saying that there's a lot of male-dominated public discourse in a lot of these things? Do you see overlap between all that whenever we have extreme pendulum swing conversations about guns and free speech and abortion? It's kind of everyone runs to the corner. I mean, in reality, there's a lot of rational people in the middle that don't really seem to get any sort of leverage or any sort of traction.
Again, a little bit of an audio problem there, but I think I got it. I think Jeffrey made a point which was interesting relative to the Uber experiment. Yeah, the idea that if you know a person's point of view about one thing, you can predict their view on 20 other seemingly unrelated things. That's a strange fact of our intellectual and political lives, and I think it's, the people in the middle have much more variation in what they believe, where they're stuck or movable, and I think that's a place to be. And the fact that you can choose everything from one side of the menu, whether it's guns or climate change or GMOs or vaccines, like those are the list of things that we talk about. I think that's sort of very visual. Thank you.
Hi, I'm a roboticist. My husband works in machine learning and AI, so I have very strong views on robotics in the future. So my question already got answered, so I have a follow-up, which is a topic nobody's asked you about. You mentioned gene editing earlier, and I wanted to know if you're familiar with CRISPR, which is the technology. And I kind of wanted to know if you've given any thoughts on the future of gene editing and how it may affect us with natural selection, because evolution takes place over hundreds and thousands of years, not like one generation. So do you think that that might be more of an existential threat as opposed to robots coming and taking all of our jobs? And pretty much if you have any, like, just a condensed version of your ideas on that.
I guess two of my main worries about CRISPR or genetic engineering in general are, number one, the way that they could facilitate the development of engineered pandemics or bioweapons where you get high lethality, anti-virulence, and easy transmission, and you could get a terrorist group or rogue state creating pandemics that are really very hard to defend against, and they don't need nearly as much equipment to do so as, Iran would need to build a nuclear bomb. So it'll be a sort of free-for-all of potentially very dangerous biotechnology within 10 or 20 years, and I'm very worried about that. That is getting some attention, not enough from international regulators, but sort of on that. The second issue I do worry about with CRISPR and gene editing is, in China, for example, the uptake of that will be very fast, and they are ready for it, and there's a long tradition in Chinese medicine of Yusheng, good birth, trying to get the best baby you can, and they don't have any of the same ethical concerns about this stuff that Americans tend to have. So be prepared for rapid uptake of these technologies in China. Problem is, they also have a fairly weird idea about what specific problems they want to avoid. There's a huge stigma against mental illness in China. If they can possibly avoid a kid having bipolar or depression or schizotypy or anything like that, and if they can select that out using CRISPR, they will do so. Problem is, there's quite a big overlap between we'll need to get a much more sophisticated understanding about how each of these genetic loci, affects multiple traits and has both costs and benefits. If they don't do that, they can end up with a society that really is pretty genetically homogenized, and it loses some of the spark.
I would say if you want a good primer on CRISPR technology, I had Jennifer Dowden on the podcast, and she spoke about it for an hour, like 6 months ago or 4 months ago.
Thank you to both of you. So I want to ask, so it's interesting. I think the session started out with almost the emphasis of our uniqueness as a species, kind of evolutionarily, and ended with the need to face this possibility that we may be nearing this inflection point where evolution may change dramatically, not just kind of incrementally as it has. And that we may be the agents of this change and ending in cataclysmic failure. We know from neuroscience that our brains, individual to individual, are very different functionally and structurally. And you've studied this, looking at how we believe things is instantiated differently between mathematical beliefs and beliefs about religion and morality. And those differences are so easily amplified now with social media and arms races and this sort of thing. So my question is, do we have enough common ground going forward, and enough shared beliefs in terms of truth, morality, and mutual benefit that we're likely to succeed here? We've been doing this for some number of years. What have you seen in terms of the arc of how we're doing as a society in terms of facing these problems?
Well, I think we're winning and losing simultaneously. I think we're seeing an amplification of polarization, but we're also seeing evidence that good ideas win as well. So it's like I see, all the while seeing the rise of, to take this case of Islam, the rise of ISIS and global jihad. We're also seeing a rise globally in secularism and in the retiring of many of these ancient religious ideas. And so I don't know what's happening faster, but I know that reason and a respect for evidence and argument is the only algorithm that gets us to converge. I mean, it's the only thing that works. It's the only thing that where you can get people who are arbitrarily disparate to converge given the same set of experiences and facts and pressures and incentives. And so we have to keep figuring out how to rig our public sphere with the right framework so that people are willing to reason together. And so that free speech is one master variable. You should never be killed for things you think out loud. And we should be highly tolerant of disagreement. And the fact that we even have Ivy League professors who can't figure that out now is a very worrying sign. We need the ivory tower to be of one mind on this topic, and perhaps many others, but free speech has to win, because it's the only error-correcting mechanism we have. I mean, again, all we have is conversation to affect these changes in ourselves. And that's the way we rewrite the software that is culture. And that's the way we do science. And that's the way we overcome bias. That's the way we counter dogma that isn't actually guiding us in reality because it's wrong. There are very few things that we should hold sacred and hold as unchanging parameters, but I think respect for free speech is one of them. Big question. I hope that was a gesture in answering.
Hi, my question's about game theory, and I'm just curious, so this idea that basically we are all rational decision makers that choose between either competition or cooperation to achieve our goals, whether that's carrying on our genes, spreading civilizations, so kind of at a micro and a macro level. This idea of game theory, how useful is it from the perspective of an evolutionary psychologist as a tool in explaining not only behavior at the individual level, but of large nations, of companies, and what can we ultimately learn from it to perhaps improve some of our systems of governance, the way we function as a society, kind of at a small scale and a larger scale. What can we learn from game theory?
I found game theory incredibly useful in my thinking, my whole worldview, the way I apply evolutionary principles to human behavior. I actually worked in a game theory center and an economics department at University College London for 4 years. And you don't need to get very deep into the technical, details. You can learn sort of the top dozen basic insights from game theory in a couple afternoons or from a few videos. Signaling theory is probably the part of game theory I use most often. The idea there is, how do you credibly demonstrate what kind of organism you are through the signals you give out? And what makes those signals honest and hard to fake, rather than easily faked, like cheap talk? Once you learn just signaling theory, everything suddenly makes a lot more sense in the world. All the way from courtship to consumer behavior to international politicking and saber rattling to branding and so forth. And these are exactly the kinds of things that K through 12 education should cover. It is absurd that 10th graders don't know what the prisoner's dilemma is. And if they did, would it help? I probably couldn't hurt, I don't know. But thinking strategically about human life is really valuable, because you can help identify, here are the situations where there's conflict between us because we misunderstand the situation or we misunderstand each other, versus we have different preferences, versus the game context creates a conflict even where it's avoidable. It's really valuable to know the difference between all those things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The truth is, you don't have to learn that much for the concepts to be useful. I mean, just to know the difference between zero-sum games and positive-sum games, or the idea of a coordination problem, the fact that you and I are both behaving rationally in the game we're playing, but if we could both change how we're playing simultaneously, we could play a much better game. But absent our being able to coordinate that change together, it's rational for each of us to be the selfish bastards we are in the current game. And so we, on some level, a lot of our problems are explained by mostly good people faced with a massive coordination problem. We're trying to figure out how to play better games together, and yet, given the games we're playing, it's rational for all mediocre games.
For Jeffrey, in polyamory, how do participants manage their responsibilities? Because you mentioned earlier pregnancy being a reason to pause. And then for Sam, how should humans define or measure the happiness of happy cows you mentioned earlier, especially because they have their own desire to continue living?
So, I don't know how people should manage pregnancy with polyamory, but I'll just point out the empirical data that, in fact, people who are in polyamorous open relationships do empirically tend to use STI testing and contraception much more reliably than people who are in monogamous relationships and cheating. However, you got to negotiate all this. It's all up for negotiation. That doesn't mean it's relationship anarchy, but if you're in an open relationship, you still have to plan, when are we going to have kids? What are we going to do about them? Who's going to give up what? Where are we going to live? How are our relationships going to change once we have the new parental responsibilities? Poly does not magically give you an extra 12 hours a day. You still have budgets of time, energy, money, attention, love, affection that you have to allocate somehow. And parenting is going to soak up some of that. So you have to be prepared for that. In some cases, having extra people involved in your life could actually bring extra help, right? You could have allo-parenting, others sort of helping at the nest. But in other cases, it means here we are again, locked into a suburban monogamous couple doing biparental care. So we as a society don't yet have enough flexibility to fully embrace the new possibilities of how do you combine new kinds of sexual relationships with raising a family.
As far as happy cows, I think given happy enough cows, I mean, given farming practices that really do seem something close to ideal, there would be very little doubt that these are lucky animals compared to any other animals, certainly compared to any animal on a factory farm now, and even compared to wild animals. So I mean, I think most of us are not losing sleep over the plight of wild animals just living their wild lives. Like that's a status quo to which we are actually biased. I mean, if someone said, listen, nature is just horrible, all these animals are hunting and being hunted and risking starvation, and it's just, nature is red in tooth and claw, so let's just kill them all, right? We would just euthanize all of nature. That's the compassionate thing to do. That would seem pretty horrible to us. That's on some level what we're picturing if we decide we're not going to raise any livestock anymore. We have billions of animals that outnumber the wild animals, and if we decide, well, it's just not ethical to keep them around, I think that it'll only seem not ethical given our current practices of factory farming. But you could imagine grass-fed herds of cows that this probably wouldn't feed all of humanity. There have to be other solutions. But such cows that could exist happily, I think, will seem happier than certainly any wild animal. And then the fact that they get killed in the end, again, as compassionately as that can be done, that won't seem as bad, or even bad at all, if you agree they're net positive lives. Again, I don't know that we can achieve that, but it certainly seems possible. So, I'm sorry I have to bring this to a close, but it's been an honor to come here to speak with you all, and I want to thank Jeffrey for taking the time. Please. And take only half of his advice. Thank you. Good night. If you find the Waking Up podcast valuable, there are many ways you can support it. You can review it on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you happen to listen to it. You can share it on social media with your friends. You can blog about it or discuss it on your own podcast. Or you can support it directly. And you can do this by subscribing through my website at samharris.org. Find subscriber-only content, which includes my Ask Me Anything episodes. You also get access to advance tickets to my live events, as well as streaming video of some of these events. And you also get to hear the bonus questions from many of these interviews. And then there's the Waking Up course, an app built for iOS and Android, which I'll be releasing soon as a subscription service, which supporters of the podcast get for free. All of these things and more you'll find on my website at samharris.org. Thank you for your support of the show. It's listeners like you that make all of this possible.
I see trees and roses too. I see a blue for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
It's coming. The Comedy Cellar. Comedy Cellar. Comedy Cellar. I can't believe what's happening. The Comedy Cellar in Las Vegas. Comedy Cellar, Las Vegas.
Where's the Comedy Cellar going? The Comedy Cellar Las Vegas at the Rio!
For tickets, go to comedycellar.com or ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets now.
Blow those ears out. Yeah, guys, unfortunately, Christina's not going to be here tonight. She's sick. But Chip said to me before the show that if she's not here, she's fired. So I got something for Bobo to wear.
Yeah.
Oh. Bobo, can you please be Christina just for tonight?
Put on your boobas.
We also have a wig.
A wig?
If you can put it on underneath your shirt.
Wow.
That's a little tough, but
That in there. How come he gets to be the funny one?
he gets the props.
Yeah.
I want to have to be creative.
I
That's not
know.
a funny prop.
We're gonna need a bottle of Jack after this.
Oh boy. Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Oh.
Things of that nature. Righto, yeah, I'm wearing white because it's summer. All right, babe, talk at you. What's up, babe? You were late. I was on time. I showed up before you did. I'm tired. I'm on cold medication. What's up, Mark?
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot my contacts. There you are.
Oh, we got those frames.
No, I know, but I got contacts too.
Who's
That's
on?
Anthony.
Yeah, who's on?
Hey, babe.
Hey, anyone interesting? You usually have someone very the president.
Ivanka Trump.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tough
We
number.
were just chilling. Talking and things of that nature and whatnot.
First daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. She sure is, of the president.
Yeah.
How you been, babe? You feeling okay? I'm feeling okay. Just took some medicine and I'm right here and I'm gone.
You too?
Yeah, look at those bullets.
Wow.
Not young, but
I'm tired. Took some medicine. We're gonna be doing the live podcast, man.
Hey.
Oh man, I cannot wait for this, Chippa.
It's going crazy. Fucking Boston, September 14th, and Long Island, September 15th. It's over half sold out already. Go to Ticketmaster.
Nice.
You see the new animation and stuff? It's on Jim Norton's YouTube, that piece of garbage. Hijacks everything I do. Over there.
He's riding your coattails.
Yeah, he sure is. Fucking sack of garbage. So what's up with you, Mark? We got a guest today, Michael Carmichael. Everybody knows. Babe, tell him who that is.
Yeah, Michael Carmichael. He's got the biggest ball of paint.
Yes, he does, babe.
Wow. The biggest ball of paint?
Yup.
Like paintball?
Yeah. Yes, like that.
All right.
That's it. I don't think it is.
Or a ball, like a rubber band ball. Remember that guy?
Or like a mental patient would gather something together.
Or a Lucille.
Or he took a giant piece of wood and painted it.
Yep. Oh, babe, she's good.
That's good.
She's good.
Yeah, you're hot.
Or perhaps, what kind of ball?
Basket?
A basketball. Or cancerous.
Oh, Jesus.
Or he castrated an animal's balls and had
Come on, babe, that's dirty. Look like a lady.
Wow, she's a little rambunctious tonight.
A little feisty,
Yeah.
babe.
Mm-hmm.
What, have you not been getting any at home? Not getting your quota taken care of?
Oh, me too.
Yeah, it's been tough the last few days.
Problems?
No, just man's been out of town.
Oh.
All right.
Very vague.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who's daddy?
I think I mentally block everything that happens in here during the show.
Oh,
and then the next time I come in, I'm like, oh, fuck, right, this is
Yeah. Not reality.
I like that one.
Yeah, sure. Daddy like. What? Hold on a second, Ed. What's got you laughing today?
Well, Chip, the soundboard is a hoot.
Been on the road, what's been happening?
Just got back from Denver.
Cool, we got legal wacky tobacco out there.
You got that right. I partook.
And the omelet.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, here we go. And
I enjoy those trips to Denver.
Oh, babe, why'd you go?
High times and lots of D.
Lots of D?
Yeah.
That's cool, babe. Getting slutty out there.
Wow.
Getting jiggy with it. Yeah, I know. She's being salty.
Yeah,
You're over.
I don't want to marry a girl who gets high and takes a lot of D. Going out there taking D, probably all over your egg.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wait.
He's in the house.
Also, John.
He's in the house.
Denver.
Oh, chill. That's pretty chill.
That's good.
How about things to do?
Oh, yeah.
When you're dead.
Oh.
I think it's things to do in Denver when you're dead. But
Right.
good.
Yeah, my joke was I went to that movie, I just kept,
Where in a coffin?
Where in a coffin? I just kept yelling at people cracking up. But
That
then
happened like a half hour later.
I was doing it. I kept doing it. I was like, "Where in a coffin?" And the guy was like, "Enough, we heard you."
Yeah, I
I'm like,
bet.
no, it's funny through the whole thing.
It's only funny if it goes through the whole thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
And you can go skiing while stoned.
Hell yeah, babe. You skiing, get them bubbas bouncing all over the damn
Yeah.
place.
Sunny Bono.
Those are a couple of mountains.
Sounds dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
mountains. Fucking
Slopes.
Talk at me, babe.
Yeah, that's right. Getting high and a mile high.
Ah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, she's saucy tonight. I like it. Daddy like.
Yeah, he does. What did your dad do, Chip?
My father's an encyclopedia salesman. And he's been on the road making his fortune. That's what Mother says. One day he just left and he waved and I'm like, where you going? And I just got, he kicked up, spit on it like a gravel, kicked up my face and my teeth.
Oh, man, well.
And the fucking gravel got kicked.
Wow.
And I had a bunch of it fucking all over my teeth, little pebbles from the gravel.
And that's the last you saw?
Yeah, I was like,
How long ago was that?
I was 7.
Oh, shit.
Did they chip your teeth?
Damn.
Tell Daddy.
Oh, wait, that was wrong. Daddy like.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Yeah, that was a mistake before, that was a little mistake. Cut that part out. I gotta save my voice.
Why not just say those?
Yeah, don't.
I guess he answered it.
Please don't.
Fudge, yeah.
No, he's not answered it, but I've asked him numerous times. Why?
Alright, I'll get on my knees and gravel.
Because they're all his sound.
Word 'em up, Doc.
Can't you just say it?
Yeah.
So listen, we're gonna have to start doing. What are you doing, babe? You talking to another
Oh,
fella?
shit.
No,
Talking to another fella?
No, I'm
boy.
just setting up the news story.
I can't hear you unless you're talking to the mic, babe.
I was opening up the link to some news stories. I was opening up a text to make sure it's ready to go.
All right, babe.
Oh, always try to work.
Just keeping you in line, babe.
There's some show prep saved in the text.
Oh, all right, hey. Daddy like.
There's
rough. Yeah, a little uncomfortable.
You did some prep work? Come on, tell Daddy.
Yep, that's right. I did some prep work. Gotta have the first story ready to go.
Yeah, hell yeah, babe. Kicking it into high gear. So what else you doing in Denver besides get so fucking high your name should have been Mr. Kites?
I went to the Rockies game.
Oh, really? What's he fighting? The Apollo Creeds? From the lips?
Yeah.
Oh shit, what's the score? It's do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-dee.
That's a good one, Chuck.
Do-do-do-do.
Oh.
Did you get hit by slow motion sweat?
No.
Hell yeah. What happened? You run a little hat at the end and it fell off or something? And Paulie threw the turkey out the window and kicked in a cunt? The fucking autistic bitch float there and butt rock.
Do they serve raw eggs at that ballpark?
Hell yeah. Well, you gotta catch your own chicken. Good. You're fucking fried idiot. Then all of a sudden Adrian falls and, oh no, Rock, I think the baby's dying inside me. But it doesn't die. It's born with a full head of hair. And Rocky like, kid looks like it's 37. And they fucking laugh. And then fucking shits on the rug.
Never seen such great improv from just you saying the rock.
Remember fucking took a big shit on the rug and the kid ran through it with his full head of hair and jumped up and down in it.
Another deleted
scene. And he goes, look, it's doo-doo. And no, Adrian goes, no, it's no.
I think the box set.
Do-do-do-do. Oh, Rocky, you gotta leave the baby.
Box set?
Fuck yeah.
That is the
Remember
worst
Mr.
thing
T?
in the movie.
I paid fool. We fight collapse to get some food bag and the tech door almost has fucking miscarriage. I paid a fool. We throw the fucking turkey out the window and get kicked in the cunt.
They should have called him Mr. N.
Remember when Mr. T was Clubber Lang? He was going, and he called fucking Adrian woman.
Yeah.
And he said to Mickey, oh, I didn't know you were one of those people. Chip, I don't trust those people. They'll take every penny from you.
Remember that either.
Remember the Russian guy?
Yeah, babe.
Remember that Russian guy?
Why was he in a hurry?
Who knows, but was he offering a glass of vodka?
Ah, babe. Fucking love her. That's why she's
That's
the
a good
producer.
one. Wow.
Yeah.
Really talking a lot tonight.
Dolph Lundgren.
Comedy and looks.
Yeah, was he being an asshole neighbor? Oh, wait a minute, that's what I have to deal with.
Fuck yeah. Remember Brigitte Nielsen? She sent nude photos to Sly and then he married her and put his pecker.
Yeah. Before Flavor Flav.
That's right.
Oh,
they
that's
were
right.
married.
Boy, talk about both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Good lord.
Wow, that's like dating fucking with Scarlett Johannesburg, and then the next girl you date is a frisbee full of dog diarrhea.
It'd be hard to throw.
That really runs the gamut.
Yeah, you have to fucking carry around so it doesn't leak on your fingers and shit it.
Runs indeed.
Fuck yeah. Oh, God. Tell Daddy. What's in that?
Oh boy, well, I got back on the Ambien.
Oh, cool. Hope you didn't send out any tweets.
Yeah.
Did you accidentally forget what you did when you drove? You all of a sudden woke up in your car?
Damn, babe, you're asking all the poisoning questions. That's a poisoning question.
Poisoning.
Yeah, fucking poisoning question.
Oh, wow.
I remember that when fucking Tiger Woods was on Ambien, and he's like, I don't know what happened, Ma. And she's like, what happened? He's like, I was on Ambien and I fucked the Perkins waitress. I didn't know. I got fucking blueberry sauce.
Yeah.
I just wanted some
Good.
fucking pancake sauce, Ma.
He would drizzle some boysenberry on his dick, and she would take care of it.
Yeah, she fucking lick
Clean
it,
off.
suck it, kiss it, lick it, suck it.
Yeah, I hopped on it.
Yeah. You come down and go, that's
Hey, that Tiger's a genius. He played 18 holes.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That's only 9 women though if he goes front and back. That's right.
Played 18 holes.
4 or 5 hours. Oh, shit, my mind your manners out there.
I wonder why Dad left.
He's selling encyclopedias, making his
Dust
fortune.
and gravel.
Yeah.
He sped out. He didn't see me. I was like, Papa.
Fuck! Has he sent a card or anything for
My mother said
birthdays?
he
Or?
did, but she lost it.
But what about all the other years? You were 7, so that has to be what did you
80 years ago.
Ma said the postman is no good.
Yeah.
I saw him walking out with a suitcase. I figured it was full of encyclopedias.
Yeah.
And I used to wake up every morning, and then I would wake him up every day before work by standing outside the bedroom door. I was just saying. I would wake him up every day saying, "Oh my."
Get it up, Taylor. Jiffy.
Stand outside the bedroom, 5:30 every morning, and say, "Oh my Papa." He's a fucking big Jim Davis fan. I did this every day for 3 years.
Wow.
Oh my Papa. And then he would wake up. And then one day I went to sing it, and I saw him running out with no shoes to the car with his luggage. And I ran out and I went, oh my Papa!
And that's when.
And he fucking slammed on the gas and the gravel kicked up
Right.
my fucking teeth.
Gee.
And I got fucking dust in my eyes.
Right in mid-papa.
Oh my Papa!
Right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I would sing it like 6 or 7 times till he got out of
Yeah.
bed because he was drinking. And he'd always push past me and go throw up. I was wearing my shirt, it said Tonka Toys on it.
This is an adorable slice of Americana here.
No trousers.
Rockwell.
Yeah.
Yep, my fucking Huggy Diners and my Tonka Toy shirt.
Yeah, it's tough.
And
7-year-old boy just singing, oh my Papa! Let loose in my diners.
You'd think the internet would hurt the encyclopedia delivery business.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I said. My mother goes, oh, Shipper, don't you be such a doubting Thomas.
So you're waiting for him to get back with all the money?
Yup.
Oh, right.
He's making his fortune. He's not going to treat me like yesterday's tomatoes.
Good thing. Come back with some money and
cake for the fucking chipper.
Oh,
my education.
Come on, dry it up.
Fucking cake for the chipper, right, babe?
Yup, that's right, Chipper.
Little fucking cake for Chippykins.
You gotta send the money back.
Oh, yeah, little cake for Chippykins.
Take care of the chicks.
Hold on a second, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, wipe your mouth.
Please.
That's
On
right,
his-
Chipper
on his
has bills to
Navy.
Chipper has bills to pay.
Oh, we got to start the podcast.
Oh, wow, we haven't even
Don't
started
be
yet.
afraid to rock, babe. The fans love it when you move it. Wait till the music starts, babe. For fuck's sake. Turn that shit up. Babe!
Wow.
How you doing there, Chip?
I'm pretty good, babe. I'm filling up a little in, but you know what?
Colostomy bag. Sexy. You're tidy. What do you call it?
Tidies.
I don't wear no colostomy bag.
No, of course
No,
not.
my mother's boyfriend Reggie has one. He has colitis, and they had to take out his intestines. So what he'll do is he'll get drink on Schlitz and then fill up his colostomy bag with fucking Little Caesar's duties. And then he'll call me in and make me go fucking dump it in the shrubs.
Pizza.
That's your job.
Yeah, sometimes there's a big hammer crust in there.
Oh.
I gotta take the bag and just dump it. It always falls over my knuckles.
Oh, meat lovers.
One time you get, well, go on now, babe.
That's gotta be crazy. Do you have a vomit bag on hand? Because I throw up every time having to do that.
Damn, babe, when you improv, it gets me nutty. No, but I gotta go out there sometimes. One time I tripped and dropped it all over the kitchen floor.
The colostomy bag spilt on the kitchen.
Yup, looked like somebody dropped a bowl of stew with pimento over it.
Who had to clean that up?
Who do you think? We only had one sheet of toilet paper left, so I had to gently dab that mug real slow.
If you push it around, it kind of dissolves.
Yeah, I did. I pushed it around.
Evaporation.
And I used my sock.
It was already crusty.
Reggie's colostomy bag.
Yeah.
He just fucking hands it to him. Clean this up. And then he cups his hand in case any more comes out.
Oh, he plugs it up a little bit and then...
Listen, man, we got to do Boston and we got to do New York for the podcast. We got to get some ideas. Which one do you want to do? Are you working the 14th and 15th?
Of
September. Pay attention!
So, is it a weekend?
No, yeah.
Oh, then I'm probably working. Damn.
It's like someone's going to miss out on all the laughter.
I'm there, Chip, both of them.
So listen, for Boston, I got some ideas. You got any ideas? I'm going to get like fucking Larry Bird and Tom Brady to throw like a basketball and football back and forth and fucking just throw them up here.
So that's one of your ideas.
Yeah, they're going to like throw the basketball and the football back and forth simultaneously.
You might want to have some backup ideas.
You know, just
Yeah, I think you could always cut like a little thing in your foot while you have a sock on.
Oh yeah, like fucking Ricky Clemens did. Hell yeah. Oh, I got
Kurt
one
Schilling.
sock. Oh,
I think that was
right.
Kurt Schilling.
Yeah, Kurt Schilling with the famous sock.
Hell yeah, Kurt Schilling's the shit. I met him at spring training.
Oh, yeah?
What did you? Where was that? Florida?
Yeah, it was so
Arizona?
crazy. We were over in fucking Mogadishu. I was doing missionary work. And I'm like, what are you doing over here? He's like, well, spring training.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
Really, but you're fucking holding a volleyball, you piece of garbage. And then we laughed.
That sounds fun.
Yup. Hell yeah.
A crazy guy.
It was a great time.
That must have been crazy. It must have been weird being at a baseball game a spring training game in a place they didn't sell beer.
They don't even have human rights.
Is it at Governor's you're doing?
No, we're doing the Paramount Theater. I don't do comedy clubs.
Wow, sorry. I thought the VU one.
And I'm doing the fucking...
That's a good room.
I tell you I'm gonna get like a fucking boat and throw like a bunch of tea off it and shiz it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm gonna get a bunch of water like it's gonna be like the fucking Circus Soleil.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna bring a bunch of water in and throw some fucking tea in it. No taxation without menstruation. No taxation without menstruation.
Oh, I got another.
Hold on, babe. I'm gonna need you to come out. I'm gonna yell no taxation without menstruation. And then we're gonna put a bunch of girls out who are fucking having their time in a month. And they're gonna take their plugs out and throw them against the wall, and it's gonna spell out chipper.
That sounds epic.
How do you have time to rehearse this? Because
Yep. I got one
sounds-
rehearsal, and then we'll do another one 30 days later.
It's elaborate. Wow.
That is elaborate.
Hold on a second, Rob.
Rob.
What's got you laughing today?
Pull that handbrake.
He's a hell of a host.
It really is the best.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that part.
Some talent. Yeah.
Just winging that.
That's
spelling
production.
ship up.
The flash
That's
will be
a
all
lot
over
of
it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of ladies.
CHIPPA. I'm hoping to get 90 to 95 women.
Wow.
All of them fucking yank out their plugs at the same time and throw it.
Wow. Bloody Sunday.
That's great.
With a uterine lining.
Hell yeah. The fucking whole room's gonna smell like copper.
I gotta tell you something though. The image of that happening is astounding.
It's beautiful.
I would love to see that.
No taxation without without
menstruation.
And I'm gonna wear some red socks, like a big pair of red knee-high socks.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do like fucking about an hour and 10 minutes of calling your Stripsky jokes.
And you can't forget the Yankee suck chant that always goes very well there in Boston.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like to be mean-spirited. Now I'm gonna create a better one, better than fucking Yankee suck. The Yankees are full of turkey, and everyone's gonna gobble. The Yankees are full of turkey.
That's good.
The Yankees are full of turkey.
It'll be
Babe, when you gobble,
Thanksgiving.
not to be disrespectful, do it again. Oh, I can picture that tongue right on my Van Deverens. The Yankees are full of turkey.
The Vaz is on the inside.
The Yankees are full of turkey.
Yeah, that's from the.
I'm gonna rip. I'm gonna be like, dude, after my hour and 10 minutes of Carl Yastrzemski jokes, I'm gonna fucking go like, hey, look at this guy, his teeth are all bucky and dented and shit.
Oh, that's a good one. Right.
Hey, party people, hopefully don't get attacked by a green monster.
Oh, that's a good one too. Boston references. The people go crazy for this.
And are you gonna have a good opener, like maybe the Dropkick Murphys can open for you?
Oh, that's fucking cool.
And then it just goes on like that for an hour.
Yeah.
On your fucking period?
Yeah.
And I'll come out and I'll be like, I'll fucking come out and just start rocking.
Yeah.
Love it.
And you gotta be careful with pyrotechnics, Chippa.
Oh, because what happened in Rhode Island.
And period blood is flammable.
Yeah, it sure is. We don't need that happening. The whole room's gonna smell like a fucking scalp on fire. What's there, a curling iron in here? No, Chipper's sign caught on fire. Hold on, Rob, seriously, what's got you laughing today?
Why not just ask him?
Always you, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny you choose to curse sometimes, and sometimes you watch them out.
Yo, I want to have one of the Kennedys introduce me.
Oh,
wow.
And I'm going to come out, it's going to be dramatic.
Yeah.
It's going to introduce me, and I'm going to come out, and it's going to be like a fucking... I'm going to really tribute fucking Boston.
Yeah.
There's going to be like fucking single stool with a spotlight on it. And I'm going to come out and do my famous rendition of More Than a Feeling on a xylophone.
And you can never go wrong with the Sweet Caroline sing-along.
Ba, ba, ba.
More than a feeling. Peter Frampton's More Than a Feeling.
I don't know. I'm going to do Boston.
No, Boston?
It's from Boston.
Oh, is that who does that?
Yeah. Morning. Tinkle, ting, 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 ting. And then I'm going to fucking honor them by bringing out a hibachi.
Oh, Jesus. It's because the singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to make some burgers in his fucking room. Mr. Lazy Pants.
I think he committed suicide.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
I think he meant to.
God damn it, that's sad.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
So maybe you gotta.
Is that the rewind sound?
Yeah, sure. Hold on a second. Tell Daddy. What happened?
Maybe you have to rethink doing that then if you didn't know it was suicide.
There's a cut that part out button.
Cut that part out.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, Rob. Fuck yeah.
Nice touch.
And how are you going to handle the selfies in the crowd?
Oh, babe, I don't know. I'm probably going to say something like, hey, don't get mad at me. I'm not one of the blacks. They'll love that up in Boston.
How do you like them apples?
They'll fucking... No, I'm going to say that in New York.
Oh, got it.
No,
It's the big apples.
Because that's from the movie.
Right.
I'm going to come out with a bunch of apples. I'm going to be like, this is in Huntington. I'm going to be like, yo, look at this. Nice to be in a big apple with a bunch of other apples or something of like to that nature.
Yeah, and how are you gonna tackle the issue of the LAE traffic?
I'm gonna be like, yeah, they said there was no traffic on the LAE. That's a lie.
Oh man.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna say, yo, don't put it in the pit, because that'd be the LYE, because that's another kind of lie. I'm gonna say, yo,
Let's stick with the first one.
Sleeping dogs around here, we should let that lie.
Oh, like a rug.
Hell yeah. You're over there fucking lying like a rug pile.
Yeah.
And are you gonna do any Billy Joel covers?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of New York song parodies. But I'm gonna do one that's about with dog shit in the street. It's gonna be called Poo York, Poo York. And there's gonna be one, this really cool fucking orange orchard in the Bronx. So I'm fucking singing this, I wrote this one, it's called New York Grove.
Oh, back in it.
Yeah, I got a sack. My sack in the New York Grove.
Yeah.
Picking oranges and shit.
That's good.
And I'm gonna do one about the fucking Metropolitan. It's gonna be called Down Easter. I'm a Met son.
Oh, boy.
Really shoehorning. But
it works for you,
Sure,
Chip.
and leave your feet in traffic.
Ah, right, and they would have to beep the horn.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
New York celebrities like you had up in Boston? You're going to be having Tom Brady.
Probably, yeah. I'm gonna try to get fucking like
Trump or
yeah.
well, Trump, yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
he'd love to come on. But it's gonna be like a real New York experience in Huntington.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a pickup truck and back it out. I'm gonna have like 10 girls fall out of it. We're gonna call it the Joe Rifkin Express. Then we're all gonna laugh about it later.
That's good.
You know, I'm gonna serve hot pretzels to everyone in the fucking audience. But instead of mustard, it's gonna have hot sauce.
Ooh, is that like crazy?
And are you gonna be serving dirty water, dude?
Yup, that's a great point. I'll do that. I'm gonna just bring some fucking regular tap water, put some cold hot dogs in it. Everybody just reach in and grab one on the way in. Not gonna cook it. Just enjoy that mug.
How about instead dirty dog water and you wash dogs and then you serve the water?
That's different than what he said.
What's a dirty dog? Is there food there?
That's it's an Irish setter that's been fucking rolled around and fucking poisoned.
Why would you do that?
Dirty water dog is a hot dog.
Damn.
Out there on the streets, you know.
Oh, we gotta call our guest.
Oh,
yeah.
I never knew that one.
Yeah.
Yo, I know what else I'm gonna do. Like a real fucking New York thing. It's the home run derby. So I'm gonna hire like fucking Reggie Jackson and Danny Winfield. And I'm gonna get like fucking Joe Girardi to hit a bunch of fucking grounders to everybody in the crowd. They're gonna feel them.
Have you gotten on this yet?
No, I'm gonna ask them the week before. Just get there, everybody's gonna go field it.
Are you gonna have a basketball court? Because there's a lot of basketball courts in New York.
Nah, Knicks.
Ah,
babe,
man.
Babe, I'm chipping you.
Play on words.
I love you,
Nice.
babe. Hey, listen, we got a cool guest coming on. This fucking Michael Carmichael. Let's get him on.
Tell the name. Skyping?
We are indeed.
Where's this mother? Pick up the phone, you POG.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? It's the podcast calling for Michael to do the interview. How are you? It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Okay, hold on.
This is Mike.
Mike, what's going
Yes.
on over there, baby? Sounds like it's going a little crazy. What's up? Talk at me.
Yeah. Okay, everything's fine.
How's Indiana out there? They still riots?
Oh, yeah, it's still a little wet right now.
A little wet? All right, whatever. You just toss it in there. So how come I can hear myself echoing? Oh, hold on. What's wrong with your setup, babe? You're not on a speakerphone, are you, Michael?
Yeah, hang on.
All right, yeah. Let's come on. What are we doing here?
Okay, I think we got it.
Thanks.
Can you hear me better now?
Much better, yeah. We want to hear you because I've been trying to get you on for 6 months. Tell everybody what you got, Michael. Tell everybody what you got. Tell Daddy.
Oh, well, I've got the weirdest thing in the world.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me guess what it is. The weirdest thing in the world, a fucking skink tag that is shaped like a baseball.
Right.
Probably
yeah.
Chip.
It's a baseball with nothing but paint on it.
A wet baseball. You know, one time I was playing ball and my mother had just painted the outside of the house and I threw up the ball and I hit it against the house and it made a big mark. And my mother said, "Oh, Chipper, look what you did now." Lamar painted it. The house was purple.
Now, am I led to believe here you have a baseball and you've just been constantly adding new coats of paint?
No, I just hit it one time.
Yeah, painting it.
Paint? Now, hold on a second. So what do you got, like 4 million coats of paint or something?
There's only 26,550 or something.
26? Hold on a second.
It weighs 6,000 pounds.
Come on.
Wait.
Get out of here.
And how much did that cost?
What did you call it, Bob Kelly?
Oh, Daddy like.
And how did they react to you when you went to the Home Depot to buy all that paint?
Yeah, and by the way, anyone ever hit a home run with this baseball? That mug seems heavy.
I get a lot of donations of paint. And
All right, Michael, let me ask you, all kidding aside, in relation to Michael Manson and Michael Jordan?
Not quite.
You ever eat any paint chips?
Oh, my name is Chip. Let me ask you something serious. What if I want to put a coat of green on that mug? Go ahead, hit me with it.
Okay, I got green for you ready to paint. So all you gotta do is paint it.
So what do I do? How does it happen?
Pardon?
How does this happen, this giant old ball of paint? Where do you keep this mug? In your closet?
No, I got a special barn for it.
A barn?
Yeah.
How big is that barn you have to hold that giant ball of paint?
Plugging in question.
It's 16 by 30, and it's 12 feet high.
Now, the big question here would be what's the diameter of this thing?
The diameter is 15 and a half feet.
Oh,
15 and a half feet.
That's as nutty as a fruitcake. As nutty as a fruitcake, my friend. Let me ask you a question. We've had a few laughs here, but all kidding aside, you ever set it on fire and roll it down a hill or something?
That'd be terrifying. Come
I
again?
got a mirror underneath it, so you.
Oh, I got shoes with mirrors on them, and I stand there in the mall and I try to look up at Cooters.
There you go.
So you got a mirror that it sits on. What's that for?
Mirror is underneath it. It
So
sets
you can
off,
see yourself.
The ball sets off the ground. It sets off the floor.
Right.
And it's suspended by a big hook.
Oh, what? What if the sun hits the mirror and it burns the
Yeah,
ball?
then you gotta yell at them.
And is the hook stable enough to handle a ball
I used
that
to hit
big?
the mirror. I hit the mirror a lot.
Mirror, so when
go
they
ahead.
paint the bottom of the ball.
Oh, I hear you.
Oh, all right. Because how the hell would you paint it? You probably can't move it, right?
Hell yeah.
And is there a specific brand of paint you use?
I use all brands that I can get a hold of.
Spray or brush or roll it on?
Nothing but rolling right now.
Rolling.
Just too big.
I hit the mirror. One time I made my pants and finger painted with it on the wall. I painted a boy with a sad face.
That's a lot of statement. How big was the boy?
Sad.
On the mirror, I painted a boy with a sad face after I made. I painted on the walls of the mirror.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
One time I took Lamar's clam chowder and painted the curtains with it and screamed at the top of my lungs until someone noticed.
And how long does it take to dry that ball?
Hold on a second. Plug it in question.
Repugnant.
15 minutes per coat, right?
Yeah, but I got a fan I put on it.
Oh, that's
smart.
cool. Guy who likes it a lot.
Well, if you gotta put a coat, it's a fan. It needs a coat.
So how big is the fan?
Oh, Jesus.
It's not real big, but it's big enough to dry in 15 minutes.
She asked good questions, Dave.
Oscillating? Never mind.
Hey, let me ask you something. What's the strangest color you ever painted? And give me a straight answer. Don't tongue my pecker.
Silver.
Silver.
Yeah.
Wait, let me handle this.
Crazy.
It probably looked like a giant piece of silver.
Yeah.
I would have yelled, "Hi, old silver," and then gestured.
Actually, I keep track of every coat that's been painted, and it's been painted blue more than 4,000 times.
It needed the money.
Ow! What you ought to do is write a book with all that information and force somebody to read it at gunpoint.
And do you ever get, when you're in a bad mood, try running over something with that ball?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Wait, hold on, Michael. What's got you laughing today?
Good therapy for me.
Oh, is that it? Yeah? Relaxes you?
Yeah, you know what I do for therapy? I roll around on a rug and make a primal noise. I pretend I'm cocooning myself.
So do you have a wife? I guess.
No, you know I'm single, cuz.
No, not you, Chip. And what is
my wife? My wife painted it thousands of times.
Whoa! So she's into it too. Oh, that's wonderful.
I got the whole family, neighborhood.
Oh my God! You and your wife ever watch someone else paint it, like paint cuckolding?
Oh, yeah. Does the neighbors, they come over to watch it dry? No?
I get visitors from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Yo, my dude, we've been talking. Yo, my dude, we've been chilling, talking for an hour or so, sharing some laughs and some stories. You ever think of putting it in a giant paintball gun and shooting someone? Go ahead, give me an answer straight.
Oh, no.
That's a pretty straight answer.
Yeah. I'd like that, would like to do it.
Hell yeah. Yo, let me ask you something. And I want you to be careful with how you answer. You ever think of putting holes in that mug and rolling it down some bowling pins?
It wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit down the aisle.
Oh, literal, Michael.
Is it very spherical, or does it have like bumps on it, or is it misshapen?
It's got a little bit of got some bumps on it, and it's a little bit out of shape. But
So does my
that's the reason I roll it, trying to keep it round.
Trying to keep it round, right? Mm-hmm.
And how much of a major city could be painted with that ball, with the amount of paint on that ball alone?
No,
Not bad. It's an interesting question.
Now you're asking important questions. How much would that mug weigh on Neptune? Let me ask you something.
Every life, I handle it with one hand, maybe.
So let me ask you, what made you do something like this? And what did you do before this? And what were your dreams?
Second one.
Oh,
wow. Wait, what happened to the first one? Did it melt?
Chippy's got 2 balls.
Yeah, now you got 2 balls.
Hey, he needed to complete the set.
Yeah.
And they might be blue.
Yeah. No,
You got it.
where is it?
It's hanging close to the one I got
Dude,
now.
that's as crazy
It's only
as...
got 1,000.
Dude, what you ought to do is put like a fucking big paint sack around it and make it smell like onions.
Do you feel powerful that you have 2 big balls?
Hell yeah, babe.
One hang lower.
Then I wouldn't have no visitors, would I?
You know what, Michael? That's crazy, but I can't judge ye. My good friend Jitney Huggins, he had a giant boogie that he worked on since the 4th grade. He would roll that mug, and by the time he was 31, it weighed almost 17 pounds. It smelled like a belly button.
That's crazy.
Oh, gross.
I can't believe it. So, what are your plans for this thing?
Oh, man, I don't know. I was going to go and kick it.
How you, Chip?
I don't know. Everybody asks me that, but I've been questioning myself that I've been painting now for 41 years.
Oh, 41 years.
Damn. And put any more coats on?
Do you ever fantasize to how much damage you can do to a town with that ball?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Do you charge to see it? Does it cost money?
What do you pay people to look at it?
And do you get to see it? Did you bring in a can of paint?
Whether you bring in paint or not.
Let me ask you something. One time when I had detention, I brought a knapsack full of liverwurst just to keep myself occupied and made a 9-pound ball of liverwurst and threw it at an old man Flubner. Knocked him down, we took his fucking walker and shiznit it.
What if you painted a swastika on it? How long till you repaint it?
Wow, that's crazy.
15 minutes.
Did anyone ever paint anything offensive like a big nipple and go, yo, look, welcome to Titty Town.
Oh, that's vulgar.
There are 2.
How about you paint it yellow like a big lemon and go, don't be such a sour puss.
That's a good one. You could probably rent it, like space on it to put commercial messages, and then they could take a picture, and then you repaint it. Have you made any money off of this thing?
Just donations off.
Oh, donations.
Just a few.
How much?
When visitors come, they'll give me a little donation, and I give, and then in return, I cut pieces off the top and give them a piece of the, a piece of that.
Oh, that's pretty chill. A little bit off the top, right? And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we hear you.
Did you write anything on the baseball when you started? So like it could be like a time capsule.
Yeah, what'd you write on the baseball when you started? So in case someone finds it years later.
I didn't think of that. I didn't think it was going to get this big.
You see here.
What would you do if someone hit it with an axe and broke it?
I don't think it could. They could probably just get it.
Oh, how old a guy are you? How old were you when you started? No shame.
How old?
When you started this project.
I don't know. 41 years ago. I don't know. I can't.
Oh,
You don't want to sidetrack. I hear you. So let's just say you were 10, wink, wink, what else. So what were you doing at the time? Were you like an salesman? Were you a dancer? Were you a rock thrower? Were you a baseball player? Were you a fireman? Were you a police officer? Did you do home gardens? Were you a TV star, a presenter?
I'm a self-employed painter.
Oh! Wait, I got it, guy.
Great.
So you'd probably be like, yo, painting's a ball.
Yeah!
Hold on, let me reward myself with a little sailor hat action.
That's pretty good. Woo! Wow. So, wow. So now that first day.
There it is.
Do you remember that first day when you first grabbed that baseball and started spraying it? Did you ever think this many years later?
It's a no spray, it's a roll.
Oh, you never sprayed it?
Never sprayed it. I've always brushed and rolled it.
When
my boy was 3 years old, I had him put the very first layer on that ball.
Oh,
now he's retired.
And did you say, hey, this is what we're going to do for 40 years?
What's going on over there, babe? You okay?
Look like the Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, okay, just my headset fell.
Okay, babe, just be careful.
Just be careful.
I thought it'd be bigger, I gotta be honest.
I've heard that before. But not about my fucking dick.
Planning on maybe a year of it. I didn't expect 41.
Holy hell, your wife looks terrible.
How come you got little paint thingamajiggies in your hand?
Is that something you sell in the gift shop that you scam people off of?
You mean them little chips?
Yeah.
That's what I cut off the top.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah. It looks like a brain.
It looks like a big hanging scrote.
Yeah, you're over there looking at it like all chill, like, yeah, I got this paintball. What are you going to do about it? Try and touch it, and I'll cut your dick off
Yeah,
and kill
looks
you.
like it has a very bad case of cancer.
Oh, that's not even funny, miss.
I'm sorry.
Whoever you are.
Christina's acting all nutty as shit. Babe, you're funny as hell tonight. Now, yo, where can people see this large paintball, which I'm sure our listeners are clamoring for it?
Please
we're open about every day, and if they call for an appointment, we'll set them up to paint it.
Yeah, don't just show up, right?
Is there ever a line?
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
Where is it? The exit?
The reason I have them call is because I don't want it to be wet when they come in, and that's why wet.
Hey, it might be wet?
It would. It could. Sometimes it is. But that's why I have them with schedule everybody.
Wait.
Yeah,
A
because
big
people
wet
want to
ball?
touch it, right?
Fudge, yeah.
Right.
People want to touch it and,
Caress it,
Yeah.
put their tongue on it, pretend it's King Kong's pecker.
Now, if it's paint and it's so heavy, what do you fasten the thing that it's hanging from to? Like, it seems like it would just tear
A
out.
little hook, like a picture hook?
At the 1-inch hook, it's been welded 3 times with other hooks to support it.
Only 1 inch.
Are you in the Guinness book?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's a
There it is.
Cap.
What's the second smallest ball? All kidding aside.
Probably his other one.
Probably don't. I don't think there's any pictures of the other one. I think I've got it unless somebody.
Got it. No, I thought it was.
It ain't no what?
But
I didn't think it was 15 feet.
That might be the small one.
That might be.
In circumference it is.
Oh,
I
circumference.
don't even know about that.
Around the top, yeah, it's a big giant oval.
It needs something to scale it, like a comparison.
Wow, jeez.
Watch the guy standing next to it. That's big.
I guess.
Yeah, 15 feet circumference.
Yeah, one Madam Conference.
Oh, look at that. You got a certificate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get
that.
Who knows?
Yeah. And you get your name put. I got a special book. You put your name and where you're from, and then we'll give you a certificate, and then you can write your name on my wall.
Do you charge people to paint the ball?
You could have made a fortune by now.
And they write their name on the wall. How many names are on the wall? Put in their count.
Yeah.
1,000?
Wow, it's like nah.
How long does it take to paint the whole thing? 6, 7 hours?
No, depends on how many people come in. If the family comes in,
Say
it's
there's
about
40
10 or
people.
15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes.
And then it dries. How long does it take to dry? A couple months?
No, I got 2 fans I put on it. I can dry in 15 minutes.
I remember we've been through this.
Yeah.
How big are the fans?
Do you shoot tires on the road to get maybe traffic your way?
It's everywhere. You know, all you have to do is go to the ball.
All right, listen. This is really a good interview.
I like it.
We've been trying to get you for fucking weeks.
This guy's booked up.
Yeah, he is. But listen.
I'm here.
Go ahead, what?
I'm here all the time.
He doesn't leave.
Tell Daddy.
Do you ever get people thinking you're a paintball place?
Nah, they know what I do.
Oh, okay.
You ever get people
they
thinking
do.
it's another kind of place, though?
Yeah, they do.
And what do you
They
say?
come-
Fuck yeah.
I just tell them that the words are backwards.
How do you not have a reality show, this show? Fucking people come in, is it paintball here? You go, no. Gold coat on that mug, and then coming up next week.
Yeah. You'll be all over that show.
Probably get boring after a while.
No, I don't believe so. That mug will be canceled before commercial break number 1. 5, Mark.
Well, we missed.
All right, listen. I appreciate you coming on. Get ready for some traffic. You're gonna have to repave the fucking driveway. Our listeners are clamoring to get there. How do they get a hold of you?
My phone number is
Don't give
area
your
code
phone. Don't give your phone
766.
number out. Don't give your number out. Just give out the website.
Just world's largest ball of paint is the only thing I know.
All right, folks.
Yahoo.com.
At Yahoo.
Okay.
Google world's largest ball of paint.
Yeah,
First
right.
one.
Yep. And they probably gonna think it's a bunch of paintball.
World around the
Whatever. Say.
All right, yeah. Google world's largest ball of paint. Everybody dancing there. All right, listen, man. You've been cool, man. It's been chill. It's been chill. I gotta be honest. Daddy like.
Good night.
All right.
All right, listen, man. Be good. Take care of yourself, and
Okay.
pick your friends. But you can't wait. You can't pick your
No.
You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your nose. But you can't pick your friends' nose.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, I fucked up, Michael. You can pick your nose. You can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friends' nose.
That's
Right. I don't want to.
Ah, Michael, you fit right into this nut house.
Ain't that nut?
Hey, wait. Mr. Miyagi, hold on. Mr. Miyagi ever show up and just go, paint the ball. And then fucking Danielson is like, what? And then fucking Johnny comes in, he's like, fucking Cobra Kai, fucking kicks him in the dick.
Right.
Yeah, does he tell you to sweep the leg?
Yeah, then Mr. Miyagi comes in, paint fence, and then Mr. Sato comes in and goes, Miyagi! And then the other guy displays cowardice and shiznit. You're disgrace in front of uncle, never attacked by trees. Miyagi!
I know it well.
Paint the
It
fence.
really does.
Paint the ball. You ever train a karate boy on that thing? All kidding aside.
Put him in a body bag.
Someday you're going to have to come paint yourself.
Yeah. You ever train a karate boy and teach him life lessons on your big ball?
Right.
What? Wait, what's got you laughing?
Oh yeah, what? And has the ball ever caught on fire? Because that would be one hot ball.
Oh, babe.
Fireball.
10 for 10 riffing. I'm gonna fuck you right when the duty falls out. Fucking. Hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking cram my putt in there with my thumbs.
What are you gonna do with the ball when you're dead?
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, I like that.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Atheist.
Go put it in
got
that
great-
museum. There's a museum there called El Dumbo.
You got what, sir?
Grandkids that might take over.
Oh, that's pretty chill.
Yeah.
I think the family's gonna back up a big green museum off the back
Do
of
you
a
get a
tractor
lot
trailer.
of hipsters that come to see this?
The
I didn't,
the West Coast
What'd you
is
say?
over. That's chomping to get off.
No, but I want to know if as soon as you die, while you're still in the fucking, while your body's not even. A big green museum. And scoop that mug in there.
Large item pickup. It's not cheap. Woo! I had to get rid of a bed once. Oh boy. All right, Bob. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, thank you.
Have a good night.
Praise Allah.
Chippa, we gotta remind people about it.
Hell yeah. Oh, body is still warm. Before the corner, it cuts a fucking exodus.
Back up the big green music.
Yeah, Chippa, we
Hold
gotta...
on, babe. I know you're steering the ship.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Wow. Everyone from the neighborhood comes over. Population of Joelsville.
Oh, all 9 of them roll through. Fucking help push that mug into the museum. Get the dumb paint on the head. Oh.
He's not even.
You think the years of humor would get to him?
But check out his face, chill dude. Go look for the biggest ball of paint on Google and fucking go check it out. It'll be silly. Sign Chipper's name or something. What's up, babe? Talk at me.
Yeah, we gotta remind people about our sponsor, Deep Discount. You love buying movies.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, Deep Discount's going. Now all month is their summer sale. It's like, why? We thought the prices were low before now. Well, you're gonna save even more.
Damn, babe, you're reading like Christopher Walken. Oh, the thing is so wide.
Just click the Deep Discount logo on the homepage.
That's right.
At broadcast.com/chip.
Oh, babe, we work together like peas and carrots. Carrots and peas.
And see for yourself, it's a great site to save on all your favorite movies.
Oh,
TV
babe, you know
shows
what?
and more.
Go ahead, babe. Sorry.
Thousands of choices, classics. Hard to find movie titles.
Babe, spice it up a little bit. Make it fucking sexy for this.
And of course, sometimes you feel the need. You know those needs. Yeah, you want. Yeah, you want to buy. You want to go buy your favorite too.
What's your favorite, babe? They got Die Hard. That's what I'm gonna do. Die Hard.
Yeah, you can buy that at a very great price, all deeply discounted.
Into the mic, babe. Everybody hear you.
Stop wasting your time searching for something to rent when you can buy, when you can own it, when you can own that, and for just about the same cost, support Chippa sponsor and go buy your favorites. I know I'll be buying my favorites tonight.
Oh boy!
Right, I'll be grabbing my favorite motorized device.
Oh
Whoa,
shit, babe! What
easy.
wow.
Yeah,
Motorized device. Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
What is that?
And you'll have. Oh, you know what it is.
Tell me, babe.
You know what it is.
It's a car and an exhaust pipe.
No, it's a long. It comes. They sell them in various colors. I got one in each color. I got the complete set.
Oh, guns. What is it, babe? You gonna get like a little vibrating trick-or-treater down there on your fucking cooler clip?
Yeah, sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you have it forever.
Chippy lick. Hold on, babe. Simmer down. Daddy's gonna have some supper. Gonna kiss my way down your fucking trail to heaven. Daddy's gonna have some supper.
Jesus Christ.
And if you turn over, I'll open up them cheeks with my fingernails, and Daddy's gonna go in there and see what you had for lunch. It's gonna be all hairy like
sexy.
Yeah, it's gonna be back there. It's gonna feel like a fishing net You're gonna have to pry through all the hair and the sweat. The fucking matted in there from the UPS truck. Go ahead, Big.
Like when one of your friends throws the frisbee into the sticker bushes.
Diarrhea.
And Deep Discount has some brand new releases to spice things up.
What they got, baby?
Got South Park, the complete 21st season, now
That's
available
chill.
on Blu-ray and DVD.
That's chill.
Get your copy for a great price at deepdiscount.com. Just click their logo found on Chippa's homepage.
Riotcast.com/Chip.
Yeah. Be good to yourself. Buy your favorite. Support a sponsor.
Hold on, Chippy Tweak. Chippy Tweak.
With that,
Why does the Deep Discount read have to be sexy?
They like it when she sexys it up.
Oh, okay.
I'm on medicine. Be
And
sexy.
check it out now. Thank you, Deep Discount.
Wow.
Chill, baby.
Pretty
That's
good.
the only one today, huh?
Today.
What happened to the gambling people?
I'm not sure. But we are getting another one next week.
Alright, that's cool.
And we got some new stories.
Let's do one. We gotta wrap
Oh.
up soon. Hold on, we got a new story. Hold on a second. Baby. Tell Daddy.
Shark gets revenge on a fisherman for catch and release.
Wait, let me guess. The shark got revenge. He fucking started a rumor that the fisherman was a pedophile on the internet.
I don't think that's how sharks get revenge.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was revenge. I think the guy fucked up.
What, he swim home or something, and he fucking was up on the beach, and the guy came out and the shark bit his fucking leg off. I've seen that shit one time. You ever watch Jabba Jaw? That was my favorite. Jabba, 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 Jaw. I would sing that for a half hour, 40 minutes.
Of course you
Jabba,
would.
Jabba, 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 Jabba,
And
Jaw.
I bet your mom would say something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shipper, keep it down to a dull roar in there. Go Jabba Jawing somewhere else for the love of Eve.
Is it before Reggie came in?
That's right, no, because Reggie would fill his colostomy bag with stew.
Oh, right, Inty Moore.
Yeah, it looked like stew with beet juice poured in there.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you what I'd say to my fucking papa? Oh,
Yes.
my
Yeah.
papa.
Poor dad. Yeah, the teeth.
Yeah, because he was going slow, and I went, Papa! And I thought I saw him look up in the rearview mirror, and then the wheels spun.
Gravel and dust and
Yeah.
that was the last
I
we
looked
saw
like
of
Al
him.
Jolson. And a lot of dirt kicked up into my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Well-
shame. Nothing, huh? You had Christmas.
Now he's probably waiting to save up for our fortune.
Dark.
Thank you so many years. Unsurprised.
What happened with the shark,
He's
man?
Jewish.
Well, according to the story, the lemon shark apparently felt.
Wait, a lemon shark? I bet it's got a sourpuss. Hey, what happened? A lemon shark fucked up and swam into a Diet Coke?
Still felt sore despite having been released back into the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, if life gives you lemon sharks.
Yeah.
At least you won't get Lyme disease.
Yeah!
Wait, hold on a second, man. Riff time is here. Fucking Captain Ripperson is here. Riff Ripperson.
Riff Ripperson.
All right, so
Yeah.
what kind of shark is it again?
It was a lemon shark.
Damn, that one's yellow, then you got a great white. Where's the fucking green shark and whatnot?
Well,
Lemony Snickets.
Oh, person didn't suffer. Didn't suffer
Aren't you
any
glad
major
you weren't in the
injury.
water with that one?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And then you got it. Wait, you got a great white.
Yeah, he must have needed a bigger boat.
Hell yeah. Oh, Chief, let's fucking drink on your leg. Let's drink on my leg. I was in Indianapolis, Chief. I didn't know what happened. I was in the Indiana, and we went down into the water, and a giant fucking ball of paint came in. I said, oh, Herbie's lucky to have gotten eaten by a fucking shark and not have to hear about this giant ball of paint.
Wow. It's just like the speech from Jaws.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, the guy didn't suffer any major injuries and was not hospitalized.
What was the revenge? The shark bit him or something? I got bit by a shark one time. Fucking thing, I'm swimming. Fucking thing comes, I hear like the
You heard music?
Yeah, and the fucking thing comes out of the water with teeth. He's like, ah! I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I'm fucking swimming. I'm like, what the fuck? And I hear him, he's like,
this is crazy.
and he fucking comes
Jeez.
to bite me. He's like, and I throw a fucking punch up under the teeth. I fucking hit the inside of his mouth. I'm like, dude. He's like, ah.
Did it hurt your hand though?
Nope. I fucking grabbed his nose and held his fucking mouth open.
Wow.
Like, you ain't biting shiznit, motherfucker.
Let's get tidy.
start reading up on shit. Get some powdered food, plant some zucchini, get a windmill, right? And that's all well and good, but if you don't know how to fight, all you're doing is gathering supplies for the toughest guy in the block. Right? Thinking about that, what am I gonna do? Some dude turns me upside down, starts shaking the gold coins out of my pockets. I gotta get a gun. So I'm on the road, right? I'm in Reno, great gun town. So I go down to their little gun store, right? Come walking in, there's some redneck there. I'm like, hey man, I want to get a gun. He's like, I hear you. What you looking for? What you want? Mossberg, over under, 357 Magnum, right? Starts rattling off all this gibberish, right? I don't know shit. I'm trying to play it off. I feel like a bitch because I don't know anything about guns. He's like, what do I do here? Ah, hell, I'm going to go with honesty. I go, look, dude, I don't know anything about guns. They terrify me, but I'm worried about the zombies. Alright? Dude's just like, you need a shotgun. You need a shotgun, man. It's got a good spread. It's easy to load, doesn't have a lot of working parts, got a good spread. He kept saying that. It's got a good spread. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, well, it means you ain't got to be that accurate. It's got a good spread. Further away you are, the more shit you hit. It's got a good spread. In fact, you got a problem over here, you ain't even got to look. You just turn, wow, that's it. You ain't got a problem over here anymore. Anything that was even remotely a problem ain't there anymore. Trust me. And then these people here, they saw what you just did here. You ain't got a problem here either. You know what I mean? And Green taken care of right there. One shot. These people get smart, flip it over. Wow! That's it. Got a good spread. I'm like laughing my ass off. I'm like, dude, look, I just want to shoot the guy. I don't have to do a bunch of drywall work, you know? Reframe my diploma. Get my parakeet another friend, you know? I just want to shoot the guy. So I'm like, you know, how about one of these pistols? It's like that classic, like that redneck trailing off thing, like, oh, you want this? What do I know? I've just been here 20 years. Get a shiny one, right? I was like, what's wrong with getting a pistol? He doesn't say what, but his laugh ain't a move. You feel me? I'm like, no. Can you please stop speaking in these backwoods riddles? Can you just say what you're saying? I told you I don't know shit about guns. Come on, give me solid here. He goes, well, look, you ever watch a movie? Guy goes, blah, 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 he kills 3 people. You laugh, man, you miss. You miss all fucking times. You miss enough times, man, you might as well, you're empty. You might as well just be standing there with a big staple in here. Then what you gonna do? I was like, well, fuck it, let's get the shotgun. He's all ready to box the thing up, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I live with my girl, I can't just show up with a shotgun. Right? That's not some shit you can just come home with. If I found this stool on the side of the road, I can come home with this. Look at it. We can refinish it. We can carve our initials in it. We can have a good time, right? Just show up with a shotgun. Hey, that's for us, right? One barrel for you, one for me? No. So she kiboshes the whole thing. So the other night, somebody broke into our car, sitting in the driveway. Starts fucking with her head, right? So she starts reading up on guns, you know? She's reading too much, because now she wants to get one, but she's just like, well, I heard you got to keep the bullets in the safe, keep the stock in the garage. And then what? Then what? I run around the house and assemble it? There's some dude's chasing me with an axe? You know, even thinking this thing through, sweetheart. She's running around, where's the stove? It's in the living room. He's in the living room! No, we're getting this thing. I want that fucking thing loaded right on the bedroom wall, right there. I'll put that thing in like Can-Can sleeves. Just like that. No other point. That's funny though, when you talk about getting a gun, you know? People, like, they either totally for it or completely against it. You know, they either go nuts and start screaming, right? Or they start throwing out those stats. Yeah, actually, you increase your chances of getting shot by 80% the second you get a gun in the house. Really? What, because I'm going to load it and shower with it? Like, The fuck? I know it's dangerous. You get a pool in your backyard, you immediately increase your odds of drowning in your backyard, right? You couldn't do that before, now you step on a rake, in you go. No, I'm telling you. I don't buy into any of that shit. Stats are so fucking stupid. You know? Not that they're stupid, it's the way people apply them. You already have your mind made up, and then you go to I'mRight.com, you start memorizing a bunch of shit, and you just throw it up at people. This guy tried to get me to go scuba diving. I go, I'm not going, I don't want to get eaten by a shark. He's like, well, actually, 90% of shark attacks actually happen in shallow water. But no shit, it's where the people are. From the beach. 90% of people are frolicking along the coastline. There's people swimming to Europe. Let's go to Iceland, you pussies! Right? I don't know. But I actually like Los Angeles. One of the few East Coast people that likes it. All my moron New York friends and Boston friends, they come out there, try to get a good slice of pizza at 4 in the morning. They can't. Like, this fucking place sucks. It's not like exactly where I left. What's the point of traveling if it's going to be different? That's so fucking stupid. Get a burrito and go on a hike. What's wrong with you? You're going to go to Hawaii? There's no pond hockey. This place sucks. I got to admit, the only thing that freaks me out about Los Angeles is all the plastic surgery. I don't get it. Why do people get plastic surgery? You know? Why can't you just admit it's over? You know? You had your time. Stop trying to look fuckable in your 50s. It's weird. With their faces yanked back. Looking all shiny, right? Not to mention they haven't even figured it out. You know? Why would you get a facelift? Can't you look at other facelifts and realize they haven't worked all the bugs out yet? Right? That's what you want to look like? Like you just lost a fight 3 days ago? Don't be a hero. Let somebody else go in there. Take the fucking beach. You lay back. Wait it out. You're just lying to people. I know, looks great. Put a little ice on it. We'll see you in a couple weeks. All right, take it easy. Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened? We followed every step. Did we miss something? Oh, hey, well, here's your keys. There you go. Oh, I said recognize you. You look so young. All right, take it easy. She gone? Oh, she's gone. All right, shred everything. Shred it. No, you're nuts. You wait it out. Let him figure it out. Then you fucking go in. Don't be a goddamn hero. You know? Look at hair plugs. Hair plugs don't look half bad now. Saw this guy the other night on TV. He's like, oh, God, I wish you did this 10 years ago. It's like, no, you don't. 10 years ago, when they were stapling ant legs to the top of people's heads? Remember that? Your eyes would water looking at their hairline. Like, is that sewn in? I see pine tar. They used to put you in like a headlock. Hold still. You like a nail gun. Hold still. Guys would tap out after a row and a half. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. You wish you got hair plugs 10 years ago. Do you wish you got polio 60 years ago? What else is on your wish list, sir? No, you don't fuck with your face. Okay? I understand liposuction. They screw that up. You can put on a shirt. Right? There's no shirt for your face. Who do they think they're fooling? But they're stupid, you know? And then you lie to yourself. I'm just gonna do it. Just gonna do this. Just gonna have this done. No, you're not. You're not. You're just gonna wax the fender on your car. Then that's it. The rest of it looks all shitty. Well, maybe I just do the hood. And maybe I do the back. That's how it happens. And you look like one of those real housewives. Your face all twisted up. Fucking idiots. Anyway, look. Yeah, they're idiots. Do you look like I'm in my 20s? No, you look weird. You look fucking weird. You still look like you're in your 50s. I just can't guess what year anymore because I've never seen that year. I've never seen that shiny fucking look. It's almost like you discovered a new age between 52 and 53. Yeah. People, there's nothing wrong with being 52 and looking 52. All right? You're 52. You didn't get fucked. Yeah. What would you rather be? 52 and look 52 or be 52 and look like a 28-year-old lizard? Right? That's your options at this point. You know what's really like actually embarrassing is that the facelift, that's predominantly a white problem. You notice that? I've never seen a black person with a facelift ever. Other than like the Jacksons, but they're all out of their minds, right? Because their dad made them rehearse all day and sleep in the fireplace. Like jamming all night. Get in there, you bastards! No hugs, no kisses. His face permanently twisted up from 50 years of screaming, "Say, motherfucker!" It's understandable with them. Hey, do you know why so many whiteys need facelifts? I love that word, I'm trying to bring it back. I love it, it's funny. Whitey! You know why? Do you know why so many Caucasians need facelifts? Because we don't know about lotion. See that? Only half of you laughed. That should have been everybody. Yeah, but a lot of you are sitting there like, well, what about lotion? What is this lotion you speak of, and what is the magic therein? Just to put it out there, you can use lotion on other parts of your body besides your dick. Yeah. You ever wondered why your dick still looks brand new, but the rest of you is starting to look like an aging pirate? Because you need to increase the circumference of the lotion distribution. All right? You got skin everywhere. Go on, check yourself out. The bottom of your feet look like a prehistoric riverbed. That's not part of the natural aging process. You dried out. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging anybody. I didn't know anything about lotion. Never used it. The first 33 years of my... Did you lay in bed and... Wow, 22 and you're booing me. Let me ask you guys a question. When you were kids, did you lay in bed and dream at night, someday I'm going to work in advertising. Someday I'm going to have my own stapler. I don't give a fuck. my life. Never used it. So one night I was going out with this black girl, right? She was getting ready and she was just putting that shit on everywhere. Just slathering it on. I thought she had like a rash or something. I'm like, what do they got, like poison ivy? What's going on with you? She goes, no, just making sure I'm not ashy. I said, ashy? She goes, dry skin. I went, Mom. I guess I freaked her out a little bit because I was like, Mom. She's like, well, white people get ashy too. I was like, yeah, you know, I don't think we do. Yeah, I've been alive for 33 years. No one has ever said, hey, Bill, you look a little ashy. I've never even heard that word until you said it. She's like, you're an idiot. Stick out your arm. So I stick out my arm, and ever so gently, she just drags her nails down. This smoke starts coming up. There's like pastry flakes flying off, track marks. She's signing her name. She's like, you see that? She goes, that's ashy. You're ashy? Freaked me out. I'm like, oh shit, I'm ashy. I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was that I always got itchy in the winter. Couldn't figure it out. Always got itchy in the winter. What the fuck do I get itchy? I thought it meant the bath towel was dirty. That's what I thought. And I would change it out and put a fresh one. Now I'm going to be okay. Take a shower, dry off, fucking itching again. God damn it, I hate the winter. See that? That's why you got to hang out with everybody. Yeah. There's too much information in the world, and every group of people misses a little bit. White people totally missed the lotion seminar at some point in history. I don't know if it's because we can't see it. You know, black people get ashy, it looks like they like leaned up against a chalkboard or something. You know, they can see it. They miss it, their friends help them out. Like, look at your ashy motherfucking elbow. What is wrong with you? Right? We miss that shit the way black people miss the whole register your weapons summit. Right? People get ashy, it looks like they like leaned up against a chalkboard or something. You know, they can see it. They miss it, their friends help them out. Like, look at your ashy motherfucking elbow. What is wrong with you? Right? We miss that shit the way black people miss the whole register your weapons summit. Right? Just never got the information. The amount of rappers who've been busted for the unregistered Glock in the car just blows my mind. It's like, why would you do that to yourself? Do you just want to make an album over the phone? Is that what it is? Is that like the new auto-tune or some shit? I don't know. No, it breaks my heart every time I see it. I just think, God, if he just had one white friend. He just had one white friend in his entourage. Dude would have been sitting there going like, is that thing registered? You out of your mind? Get it out of there. Get it out of there. Yeah, it's illegal. That's like fucking 3 to 5 mandatory. Dude, how do you not know that? That's the question. How do you not fucking know that? There's an unregistered weapon in the car, and we're just gonna go driving around with it. It's just ridiculous. See, there you go, all right? You don't need a facelift, okay? Lay off the booze, do some cardio, moisturize. You're gonna be fine. Okay, don't believe in these myths. Black don't crack. It's bullshit. They all put lotion on like every 20 minutes during the day. It's ridiculous. They all got a giant oil drum of the shit at home. Every morning they wake up, they dump themselves in it, shake themselves off, and walk out the door absolutely glistening. Glistening! White guys like me are walking around, no hat on. Oh, let's go sailing! Passing out face down in the sand. Speaking of no boozing, man, I've been really trying to clean up my act as far as that boozing thing goes. Just really been laying off it, you know? I don't know what it is. Your fucking head gets big as you get older, you know? You keep boozing, you start getting that big Alec Baldwin, John Travolta head. And you don't notice stuff, because every day you're brushing your teeth and you see in your head it's just getting a little bit bigger. Keep drinking, I'll have another one, right? Then one day you go to take that cell phone picture and you're just like 6 inches in front of everybody else. You don't think it's a big deal. Maybe you leaned in because you're feeling good, right? And all of a sudden you look at the picture, it's like, fucking yeah! Woo!
off this shit. So I've been trying to learn how to fix shit around the house. That's what's filling up all this time of just being sober. That's brutal, dude. You have no idea how long a year is until you're stone sober. Oh, it's fucking brutal. So I'm learning how to fix shit, right? My girlfriend doesn't like it because she says I have a temper. You know? She's like, it's not that you're trying to fix things. It's that you get frustrated, you punch the wall, the dog starts shaking. I just don't think it's a good idea. You're a comedian. You should tell jokes. He's a plumber. He should plumb, right? Try to explain to her that losing your shit is part of the process of fixing something. Right? Everybody does that. You buy, right? Yeah. You buy something at IKEA, you get halfway through putting it together, you're like, dude, where the fuck is the fucking... Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. But, honey, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Why? You want to put it together? What did you put it together? You put together this fucking particle board piece of fucking shit. Its instructions make no sense. I will buy another one. I will buy another one. I'll buy fucking 5 and smash 4 if I want to. Don't tell me what to do. Oh, go to your mother's. I don't give a shit. Jesus Christ. Yeah, what story are you going to tell? This one, right? Not the part about how you pay all the fucking bills, right? How was that uncalled for? How was that uncalled for? I wasn't even talking to you. I was talking to the fucking thing. I was talking to the fucking thing. I know what I said. I know what I said, okay? You don't need to tell me. I know what I said, yes. I am working on it, all right? Look, you think I want to be this guy? You think I want to be the guy who flips out about the fucking tables? I don't, okay? This isn't who I am. This is who I became, all right? I'm working through this shit. You didn't have to speak well. You do shit too, okay? You do shit too. Well, I thought you were going to your mother's. That's brutal. I ain't having a temper, man. It's fucking embarrassing. I don't know. I'm sick of women trying to... Every girl I ever date's always trying to fix me. It gets annoying after a while, Like you're not out of your mind with all your fucking shoes. Right? What is that all about? I'm sick of this hypothetical perfect guy. Go get him. Go down to Applebee's. Let me know what you find. Okay? I'm working. I'm trying. You go down and you get this Mr. Even keeled all the time with his little fucking sport coat, right? You live with that guy for a while, Hey, honey, I'm home. How are you? Yeah, traffic was crazy. Almost lost it, but thank God I had that book on tape, right? Gulliver's Travels, always a classic. Always a classic. That's the guy you want, straight across the board. Even in the bedroom, right? Always making love to you, missionary style. I love you. Your hair is like an ocean. Never know when you like to be flipped over and have your face mushed into the pillows. You fucking psycho, right? She's right. She's always right. I do have to work on it. I do have a temper. I don't know if it's hereditary. I don't know if it's part of the country I'm from. I've always snapped. My dad was like that. My dad's the greatest dude I ever met in my life. He had a temper. Anytime anything broke in the house, 5 minutes into fixing it, he was bitching about his marriage. It was hilarious. He'd see something broke. Oh, Christ, will you look at that? God damn it, Billy, give me that fucking screwdriver. I swear to God, I don't know what the fuck I ever got married for. 13 goddamn years of this shit. Oh, you're a bitch, lady! You've been a bitch for years! Give me the flies. Yeah, most guys would have left by now. Most guys would have left by now. That was one of his catchphrases. Most guys would have left by now, and you don't know how fucking good you got it, lady!